and Ferrario are broadcasting live from the E&B Granite Studios at the Centene Community Ice Center. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmer's Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN.
Alongside Alex Ferrario and Tanner Hendrickson, I'm Brandon Kiley. Welcome into the show today. It's BK and Ferrario on a Friday, heading into a holiday weekend. Blues do not win last night. However, they get a point, and they had some young guys that looked good on the ice. And Alex, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is where we're at. We are now looking at how the young guys play, and last night, I was impressed. Berggren, I guess is what we're going with here.
Berggren. I can't do my bear voice anymore.
Jonathan Berggren had the goal. A really freaking impressive goal.
That was a goal. That was a snipe. Goal scores goal right there.
Dalibor Dvorsky, I thought, played one of his best games for the Blues. It might not show it with the overall numbers, but I was very impressed by him. He seems to be gaining more and more confidence by the day. Otto Stenberg continues to just look like a plus NHL player as a third liner. And I liked what we saw from Logan Mailloux as well. This is what the, immediate future of the Blues is all about. Can you get positive returns from your young players? And last night, the answer was yes, despite the overtime loss, which, when you go to overtime, how can you expect to win when you're the St. Louis Blues?
Well, the proper answer is you don't expect to win when you're the St. Louis Blues, because now you're 0-8 in overtime and shootouts this season.
My God.
So 0-6 just in 3-on-3 overtime. So, and I think Jim Montgomery laid it out perfectly last night. And he said he didn't name the player, and I think it was because it was a young guy, Dalibor Dvorsky. It was just rookie mistake in overtime. But yes, we'll ask McAdoo to Mike if it matters that they got a point, because typically he sees no points when he comes in with us on Fridays. But as much as we want them to win, and yes, the Western Conference is still within reach, because, my God, Western Conference, nobody's distancing themselves except Minnesota, Dallas, and Colorado. You're also in that position because of all of these injuries, because of your inconsistencies, that I'm going to look beyond the final results and start looking at other areas that benefit this team long term. And the names that you mentioned, these are all positive returns for the Blues right now. And I know nobody wants to hear this. They think I'm just, settling for losses right now. And
welcome to my Cardinals spot, man.
Maybe.
I'm happy for you to be on board.
Yeah, maybe. And welcome on board with this.
You got excited about the Cardinals. Burley?
Yeah, Burley, Mason Wynn.
I've never gotten excited about Mason Wynn.
Herrera.
You tried to tell me that that's a superstar in the making, but
okay. I think it's a lot of like what we're seeing develop with the Blues.
Tour for a while.
A lot of good pieces.
Yeah, I was saying probably. The way that certain guys are playing, it's just a breath of fresh air, considering there are other guys on the team that don't play that way. Like all of the forwards that you just mentioned, every single time there's a scrum along the wall, all three of those guys go in to get the puck. Dalibor Dvorsky laid probably the biggest hit I've seen him lay in a professional hockey setting, AHL or NHL, in his career.
And I know it surprised everyone in the building because Joe went, whoa.
Well, he had his head down, and he just went in there and threw him down. Berggren, every time he goes into a scrum, it seems he comes away with the puck. Same can be said for Stenberg, because he's throwing the cross checks around. So they have a little attitude to them. They have a presence to them, but they just play with their heads up. And that's why I think you're seeing so much offense generated. Every single time they're out there, they're playing with speed, they're playing with purpose, but they're always looking for that next move, to where it feels like the Blues this season have just been disconnected. So I think you've gotten positive returns on all of these guys. We already all agree Dalibor Dvorsky is not going back down to the AHL, nor is Logan Mailloux. I think the other two guys, I don't think Berggren goes back on waivers. This guy looks like he's a piece for the team.
Agreed.
I had this stat last night on postgame. Robert Thomas had 4 shot attempts in the first 2 periods with Toropchenko on the top line. He had 5 shot attempts in the third period when Berggren was on the line with him. So that guy generates offense. And then Stenberg, look, it's the roster manipulation. He might have to go down when you're healthy. But for right now, this guy looks like he's an NHL player. So those are rewarding for a Blues team.
From the 636. So just to be clear, you guys are waving the white flag. Season's over. All right, cool. Good to know.
I didn't say that, did I?
Waving the white flag, no. because the rest of the Western Conference, as Alex had mentioned there, has not pulled away from you. Believing that the Blues are a step behind? Absolutely. Believing that you are very much still in the midst of a retool? Yes, I think that's fair to say. But because the Western Conference has allowed this to remain open, you're right now only 3 points back of the San Jose Sharks for that second wildcard spot. I'm not willing to wave the white flag. You could go on a run. If you win at some point 3 games in a row, the odds are you'll probably be right there up with the San Jose Sharks, LA Kings, etc. for that final wildcard spot. But then if you lose 3 games in a row, you're right back to where you are today. So we're going to continue to ride this roller coaster. The most important thing for 2025 and as we get into 2026 here in a couple of weeks is to remain engaged with these young players. What do they do? Do you find new pieces that can be a part of the core in the future? If you can do that, the season can still be a success, even if you do find yourself, well, success is maybe not the right way. You can still find a silver lining in the season is a better way to frame it. Despite the season, yes, being a disappointment relative to all of our expectations going into the season.
I think you need to, for people that are saying...
I corrected myself there. No, it's not a success. It's a disappointment, but silver lining nonetheless.
For the people that will say, like, so you're waving the white flag, you know, no... But I'm also going to take the president of hockey operation for him at his words. And he was talking he met with JR and Matt DeFranks and Lou Korek about where they're at in the standings. He's like, look, these are facts. I live in a fact world. Those are facts. That the stabilization thing I was talking about, not letting one thing turn into 3, where we're at right now, we're one of the bottom teams in the National Hockey League. And if you go on a run, great. You found yourself into the playoffs. But I also look at the standings. One, you just beat a Winnipeg Jets team that, if you listen to the other side of that conversation, Winnipeg Jets are in a little bit of a panic right now because of their season, because they lost to the Blues. They're not looking at that as, oh, wow, the Blues just beat us. It's a good team. They're panicking. The Rangers who beat you in overtime last night. They're also talking about tanking this season and how bad it's gotten for them. So it's not like the Blues just went out there and picked up 3 or 4 points against the Colorado Avalanche and Dallas Stars. You're beating peers on the same playing field as you. But I also look at the Blues, who sit, as BK mentioned, 3 points out of a playoff spot, 5 points away from being the worst team in the NHL. The bottom team is the Vancouver Canucks, who has 3 games in hand on you. Yeah. That's 6 points that would put them at 35, which would be ahead of you. So, no, I'm not waving the white flag. I would like to see this Blues team make the playoffs. But, as Doug Armstrong stated, facts are facts. You've been a middling or bad team all season, and I have to look at that and say, now let's evaluate other aspects of the team.
Yeah, and going with facts, because I agree. You can't wave the white flag yet because you are just 3 points out. I think expectations are right now you're not a playoff team. And I think based on Army's comments, he's thinking the same way and starting to at least field some calls on potential selling as sellers. But look at it. They've got the worst goal differential in the NHL. And right now, they have played 36 games. Guys, we are 5 games away from the midway point of the season for the Blues. They don't have a 10-goal scorer. They don't have a 9-goal scorer. 8 is what the team lead is in terms of goals. So, yes, are you in the playoff race? Yes, you are technically there. That's just because no one has run away with it. But my expectation is, yeah, you're not a playoff team. You're not waving the white flag. And if we're being honest, the young guys are the guys that are potentially going to get them back in this race because they're playing more Jim Montgomery hockey than we saw from the actual core coming into the season.
Here's the other quote from...
T-Bone smoke a pack of cigarettes last night? What is going on?
I got something stuck in my throat.
Would you like some flapjack, sweetheart?
I felt like I was on a roll and I didn't want to stop, okay?
Do you want some maple syrup with your waffles, sweetheart? Here's the quote, another quote from Doug Armstrong to show you that we're not waving the white flag. That might be their mindset. As Bill Parcells said, you are what you are, and right now we're 29th in win percentage, so everything has to be considered and addressed. The way the league operates, and I haven't spent a lot of time in this area, more times in other areas when they're calling, we were a highly functioning team, you'd get calls that weren't highly functioning teams. Now we're getting the calls that we're not the highly functioning team. Everyone in the NHL sees it. Doug Armstrong, who traded guys away years ago when they were points out of a playoff spot because he knew what they were. This is where you're at right now. I hate it. I wish they were better. But yes, BK, I am where you were with the Cardinals last year. I can't live in the facade of saying that this is a playoff team when I actually see certain players and say, look, they may not be a playoff team, but I'm going to go off of these assets that they've been accumulating that are supposed to be a part of the retool and judge them off of being NHL players. And right now, both of them, all three of them, heck, the guy they claimed off of waivers look like playoff or NHL players.
If you're looking for another positive from last night, I would go to Jordan Binnington, who was awesome in net.
Yes.
I have zero critiques about the performance by Jordan Binnington. Saved 29 of the 31 shots that he saw. He gave you every opportunity to potentially win that game. You can't expect to win many games when you score one goal. And this team just doesn't score a whole lot of goals. They're going to need continued performances like that in net. Great performance the other night by Joel Hofer. Really good performance yesterday by Jordan Binnington. That's going to give this team a chance. This is a team that's going to have to win a lot of games, 3-2, 2-1. And yesterday, fortunately, you only got the one goal. You get a point out of it because Binnington stands on his head. I do wonder if that was a more refreshed version of Jordan Binnington, and we're going to see a better version of him as he continues to get more rest here over the next 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, and the team in front of him, I thought, played sloppy in the first two periods, and so he was able to make saves off of a team that was playing sloppy in front of him, which is a good sign because earlier this season, he's been struggling when the team was sloppy in front of him. So what they're going to need is they're going to need their two goaltenders to lock things down. I loved Jim Montgomery's response to Binnington going in that game, saying he needed a reset, our team needed a reset. I'm not worried about Jordan Binnington. I've said this all the time. People know I'm a Binnington honk. I think he's going to be fine. That was a good game for him to perform in. It sucks that you didn't get the actual win. But right now, I think Jordan Binnington's trying to dig himself out of wherever he's at rather than worry about where the team's at.
He's Alex S. T-Bone on BK. We got Bradford Bruns back in the studio for us today, so get excited about his Sports Center updates at the bottom of each and every hour. We will also have Mike McKenna joining us in studio coming up at 11:30. Macadoodle Mike joins us as he does each and every Friday, unfortunately, coming off of yet another St. Louis Blues
he
loss.
expects it by now.
If you guys want to get involved in the show, the place to do so is 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. You can also check us out, watch us on YouTube, and get involved in the Graveyard Chat at youtube.com/101ESPN STL. Ask us anything at 11:45. But next, did the Seahawks earn your respect last night with the way that they played down the stretch against what I believe is the best team in the NFL? We'll talk about that, get T-Bone's perspective on his team losing in dramatic fashion last night. We'll do it next here on 101 ESPN.
The Spread Zone, where sports betting meets reckless optimism, questionable logic, and the occasional stroke of genius. With hosts Anthony Stalter, Tim McKernan, and Scott Rizzuto. Check out the latest from the Spread Zone at 101ESPN.com. Or the 101 mobile app. The Spread Zone is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more.
Hey, Blues fans. Ready to take your excitement to the next level? BetMGM is now available in Missouri. So shoot your shot with an official sports betting partner of the St. Louis Blues. Discover exciting Blues matchups by downloading the BetMGM app and getting instant access to a variety of parlay selection features and live betting options. Enjoy same-game parlays, boosted odds specials, the best daily promotions in the business, and so much more when you sign up. The chase is on for the next Stanley Cup, so get hyped for Blues action all season long with an official sports betting partner of the St. Louis Blues. BetMGM, now available in Missouri. Sign up today. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Broadcasting live from the Centene Community Ice Center inside the ENB Granite Studios. This is BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmers Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN.
On BK. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll talk to Mike McKenna, former NHL goalie. He joins us each and every Friday to talk about the St. Louis Blues. Does so on behalf of the fine folks over at Macadoodles. All right, Alex, last night we saw one hell of a football game between the Rams and the Seahawks. And about 8 minutes left in the game, I tweeted out from my personal account. You can follow me at BK Sports Talk.
He's got
anything can happen
too
in the playoffs. But this Rams team feels destined to win the Super Bowl.
And then
they are so far and away the best team in the league right now. And then all hell broke loose.
Now I know why we lost.
The Rams were up 30-14, Alex, with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They found a way to lose this football game. They went 3 and out multiple times in the fourth quarter. Offense could do a whole lot of nothing for most of the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, the Seahawks had a couple of massive plays that allowed them to get back into this thing and then ultimately won it in overtime with that 2-point conversion. For me, the Seahawks gained a whole hell of a lot of respect last night. I think they earned that. Sam Darnold was clutch against a defense that has had his number for the last couple of seasons. They're the defense that sent him out of Minnesota. They're the defense that earlier this season when he went up against him, he crumbled once again. And when it was the biggest moment possible, with the number 1 seed potentially on the line for Seattle, at home, big moment, fourth quarter, clutch spot, got to score 38 points to beat him, he did exactly that. Credit where it is due. Sam Darnold balled his ass off in that fourth quarter. And the Seahawks defense stepped up. I know they allowed 37 points, so it doesn't look this way. But their defense stepped up as well when the moments were the biggest. So they earned a lot of respect for me. I still don't see them as like a prime Super Bowl contender, but if they end up as the number 1 seed in the NFC, which at least feels in play right now, we'll discuss that a little bit more here in just a moment. I've got to take them seriously as a contender. What did you learn about Seattle and LA last night?
It was a hell of a game regardless. I don't know if I really learned anything because I still don't trust Sam Darnold. Like, he balled out in the second half. There's no question about it, and he dragged that team back into it. Because when Puka scored the touchdown in overtime, I'm thinking this is over. There's no way. Darnold's not going to be able to drive down the field, and credit to him and Smith and Jigba because they generated that playmaking ability. But I was just looking at this last year when he was with the Vikings and what it looked like at the end of the season. And he had a couple of really good performances at the end of December that you'd look and you'd be like, damn, that was a good performance by Darnold. That's a big game. And then what happened in the playoffs? So, like, yes, I will give the Seahawks credit because they went out there and they beat the Rams. That was a hell of a victory. But I don't know if I'm going to look at that and say, well, the Seahawks are better than the Rams moving forward because I don't trust Darnold in the playoffs. I do think it's a little surprising that the Rams weren't as stout defensively in that game because I truly thought they were going to shut Seattle down. Because
they did for most of the game, and then the fourth quarter happened.
Yeah. And I guess that's the concern is like, is there an Achilles heel to the Rams at some point moving forward? Are they not this juggernaut that we thought in the postseason?
And they have been a little more leaky defensively over the last few weeks. They gave up 31 to the Panthers. They ran all over them. The Lions certainly had some offensive success, and then we saw what happened this week against Seattle. Their run defense is really what gives me some cause for concern. Kenneth Walker was great last night.
It was a problem from last year, too.
Well, and you said it in the text yesterday. I mean, special teams is a problem, too, when you're giving up these returns. So, bigger picture, I don't think I took anything away from this because in a postseason, I would still take the Rams over the Seahawks because I don't trust the quarterback. But it did open my eyes a little bit more to the Rams maybe not being this juggernaut that we thought.
Yeah, I agree that I don't know that I trust Sam Darnold, even though he made some clutch plays late in that game last night. But I think I have to take them seriously because odds are they're not giving up that many points with their defense in a game when we get to the playoffs. Because who's the other offense that's going to pick them apart like Stafford did? I don't know that there is one in the NFC.
I agree.
And
Detroit maybe, but I think
Detroit could.
Yeah. So if that's the case, like I look at them and go, okay, if Sam Darnold, even if he got off to a slow start, the only reason that it looked as ugly as it did early on was because they were going up against the Rams. If Darnold gets off to a slow start going up against like the Eagles or the 49ers or name the NFC playoff team, I don't think there's a team that can really open up a big enough lead to where Darnold then has to go on a significant run like he did in the home stretch of that football game. So I think, the Seahawks might be a team that if the path lays itself out for them, I don't know that they can get to the Super Bowl because I still think the Rams are the best team in the NFC. I think the best team in the NFL, even though they may have to go on the road for all their playoff games.
They could end up as the 6th seed.
Just wild. But I think Seattle, depending on their path, could get themselves to the NFC Championship game. That's what I think is their capabilities because of their defense.
I agree with you on that. That's kind of how I view them is, all right, possible number 1 seed. If they end up with that number 1 seed, do I think they could make it to the NFC Championship game? Yeah, they absolutely could. That being said, I said possible number 1 seed for a reason. Guys, I think as of today, there's a case to be made for the 49ers as that number 1 seed. I know that seems almost laughable because of the way that their season has gone, but here's what their remaining schedule looks like. On the road on Monday Night Football this week at Indianapolis. You guys think that Grandpa Rivers is going to be able to win that game?
Hell yeah.
At home against the Chicago Bears. I don't know which way that game will go.
That one will be fascinating.
But my guess is San Fran will be favored by probably 4 or 5 points in that game. Again, it's a home game against Chicago. And then they finish out the season, final game of the regular season at home against Seattle. Winner of that game, if this goes as expected, would be the number 1 seed in the NFC because San Francisco would have the tiebreaker over both LA and Seattle in the event that they went out. So San Francisco, who as of today is the 6th seed, it's kind of similar to the Bears who went from like the number 1 seed to the number 7 seed and then back up to the number 2 seed over the last few weeks. The 49ers, who a couple of weeks ago felt like, hey, maybe they're on the outside looking in, could end up in the next 3 weeks as the number 1 seed in the NFC, earning the bye despite Brock Purdy missing almost half of the regular season.
And to me, that game's going to be twofold. One, it's going to tell you, I think Seattle's better than the 49ers, but it's going to tell you if they are truly. Two, I'm going to find out if I believe in Sam Darnold because that's going to be the biggest game other than the playoffs for him to make sure you get the number 1 seed. You're on the road in San Francisco.
It's a repeat of last year where week 18 he had to go up against
Detroit.
the Lions and he beat down his leg, and we all said that's why I don't trust him.
And that is going to be the game. So yeah, if I were to put money on it now, I think Seattle wins that game against San Francisco because I think their defense is better than the 49ers offense. So I don't know if the 49ers are putting up a lot of points, although I saw the Rams pick apart. But that's the game that I'm going to be like, cool, I don't trust Sam Darnold, and here is exactly why.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's the game that will I say that, and then I'll probably watch him and also go, no, I don't know. I don't know. I trust Sam Darnold. Like, I just don't know. He has to go on a playoff run probably to get my respect.
Do you trust the 49ers?
No.
I don't either.
I don't think their defense is good enough. And offensively, like, as much as we've talked about Brock Purdy, I think you're really seeing this year, because they got to the Super Bowl with Purdy, if I'm not mistaken, right? They did that once, or he got injured, maybe got to the championship game. When I look at the 49ers, I see teams forcing Brock Purdy to beat them, and he's not doing it. You know, like I
think Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy.
I've been more impressed with what Mac Jones did at quarterback than Brock Purdy this year. So, no, I don't trust the 49ers.
I just look at the NFC right now, and I think the 3 teams from the NFC West are the teams that I trust the most, that I think could actually go on a run. You guys know how I felt about the Packers all year. The injuries to me
Man, you jump ship that quick, huh?
It's the injuries. Like, not having Micah Parsons is a really big deal. Not having one of your starting offensive tackles is a huge deal for them. And all year long, they've been dealing with injuries in the receiver core, including now Tucker Kraft being out for probably the rest. I think it's too much to overcome. I'll be right back on board next year.
When they win this week, he'll be like, oh, this team's going to be fine.
But I think today I would stack it up as my number 1 team is still the LA Rams. And then in that second tier for me, it's San Francisco and Seattle. And then it's kind of everybody else. That being said, can I make T-Bone mad real quick?
Yes. Hold on.
I don't know what this is about.
I want to watch his face.
Okay.
I'm going to stare into your eyes with this one, T-Bone.
I want to say this on the front. I think Sean McVay is probably the best coach in the NFL right now.
That's all we needed to hear.
I think he's fantastic.
But
I think he screwed up last night, and I think it might cost the Rams the number 1 seed.
Oh, here we go, T-Bone.
So they were saying this a number of times on the broadcast, and I think it's a really important point. A tie last night was as good as a win. for the Rams because a tie means they have the tiebreaker over the Seattle Seahawks, and they're probably a pretty significant favorite the rest of the year to get the number 1 seed in the NFC. So when they get the ball first in overtime and they score, you've got to go for 2 because you're incentivizing by going for 1 the Seahawks to go for 2 to finish out that game. Because in the event that they get that 2-point conversion, they win, and they are now the favorite to win the NFC.
And if you don't score there, then you got to get the stop no matter what.
Exactly. If you go for 1 and kick the extra point and you make it as expected, you know what Seattle's going to do. Getting the 2-point conversion, them then going for the 2-point conversion and getting it, all you have to do, even if they do get it, is just bleed out the clock. You get the tie, you basically win the game by virtue of what you need to accomplish in this game. So it would have been a bold decision, and I think there would have been a lot of second guessing had they failed to get that 2-point conversion. In my opinion, he screwed up. I think he should have gone for 2 in that spot, and he should have allowed himself the opportunity to go at minimum home with the tie last night to potentially get that number 1 overall seed.
Yeah, see,
no follow-up questions.
I don't have a question. I think he made the right call kicking the PAT.
Why?
Because you go up by 7, so that way they can't kick a PAT to win it. Where their place kicker, Jason Myers, is 44 for 44 on the year.
Sure, you would expect them to get the field
but I
goal or the extra
want
point.
my defense. I'm going to rely on my defense because then there's 2
After
different
they've
plays
already
they have to
scored
make.
30 points,
Yeah, but there's 2
including
plays
16
they
in the
have to
fourth
make
quarter.
in that case, right? Like they've got to drive the length of the field,
Sure.
which they did, and then they've got to convert a 2-point play. Like I would rather take
In
my
my
out
scenario,
there.
you have to make 1 play. And you have
You only
Puka
gotta
Nacua,
score.
So my
who's the
defense,
best receiver
only
in
got to
the
make
NFL.
1 play. Like my defense can let them drive down the rest of the field.
They had it in
that
the
throw
entire
makes
fourth
a
quarter.
doink off the head like they almost did on that 2-point conversion.
That was a different
it's
2-point
played.
conversion.
No, the Seattle one I'm talking about, where they threw it and it nearly went off the head of the helmet of the guy. Like they scored it, yes, but like I have no
They won
issues
the
with McVay's play.
Are you talking about the last 2-point conversion?
Yeah.
The last 2-point conversion was a wide open throw across the middle.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying was there was a guy at the line that nearly blocked that as he was coming across. Like it was almost accidental. I get it, he didn't, but like I would rather play that 1 play on a 2-point conversion than saying, okay, here's the layup PAT attempt
Aren't you
that
arguing
you get
against
here.
yourself?
Yeah, but
if
I think
it's if you're saying you're cool with it coming down to 1 play, why wouldn't you be good with that on the other side? For you to get the 1
because
play.
because
Put
this
it
way
in
they've
your
got to
hands instead of theirs.
convert multiple times, right? Like they've got to drive the length of the field, then they've got to get the 2-point conversion. They drive the length of the field and score the touchdown. They would have won anyway. If you go for 2 and fail,
You're assuming that you failed.
yeah, and I think you have to
You're
run that
probably
risk.
Going to get it.
I think you have to run that risk that you don't get. You're going against a great defense in the Seahawks. I think you
scored
forced them to go
37
2.
points, and you've got
Yeah, but
the
you hadn't
best
done anything in
receiver
the second
NFL.
half.
You
hadn't done anything in the second half. They struggled for
You
most
had
of their
scored
drives.
24 points in the second half. What are you talking
They
about?
struggled in the final 4 drives. They scored the
and
touchdown
then
in
Puka
OT.
just went 50 yards for a
Yeah,
touchdown.
That was it. Like that was it. They went 3 and out their 3 previous drives. Like to me, it would be a stupid decision to go for 2 there. Because to me,
to
otherwise,
get 2 yards?
if you fail, you basically give them the layup if they score the touchdown.
Unless your defense gets the stop
And you're
because you're up by
assuming-
6.
If I'm trusting my defense, I don't need them to make. I just need them to make the 2 stops.
But the problem is once Seattle has that momentum, they drove down the field. It's going to be very difficult to find a way to stop them on that 2-point conversion. If I go up by 6 and I score there and I miss my 2-point conversion, I'm still putting the trust on the defense to stop him.
T-Bone, you're assuming 2 things are going to happen. One, you're assuming that you are going to fail on the 2-point try. And then, actually, it's 3 things. Then you're assuming that Seattle will score a touchdown. And then you're assuming that Seattle will be able to get that 2-point conversion. Like, I'm saying you're giving yourself another out here. By kicking the PAT, you gave Seattle an extra out. You gave Seattle the out of, if you get this 2-point conversion, you win.
Mm-hmm.
In my scenario, if you succeed with the 2-point conversion,
You're only going to tie me.
The best thing that can happen for Seattle is they can tie. That is their best case scenario. And if you're Sean McVay, that's actually my best case scenario. And it's the worst case scenario in the conversation that we're having here. So on that 1 play, by converting there, you are effectively securing the number 1 seed in the NFC as long as you take care of business the rest of the way. If you fail, I still have an out of being able to stop them on their next drive. And if you do so, I win the game outright in overtime, and I still end up with the favorite as the number 1 seed in the NFC. So I think they screwed up. If they go for 2 there, they give themselves the best chance possible to become the number 1 seed. By kicking the point after, they effectively allowed the Seahawks to come back.
I do agree with Tanner, though, that if they fail on that 2-point conversion, we are – I mean, you and I are probably saying that was a good decision. America is bashing Sean McVay for a dumb
Sean
decision.
McVay if he did it. Like, I think he played it smart because I think you have to really weigh what the risks are in that scenario. And I don't know what Seattle is as a team on going for 2-point conversions or what they are when they run plays from the 2-yard line. I know their kicker's 100% on an extra point. So if I fail the 2-point conversion and I have to assume my defense maybe doesn't get the stop, then I just gave them the layup to win the game on an extra point where they're 100% on the season. Like, to me, that's just too risky. I would rather take the play of, okay, let's not do it. Let's go up by 7 and force them to go for 2, and then we'll see if the defense can make one play. And when you're in the 2-yard line, everything is so condensed. Like, to me, your odds boost up on a chance of getting a stop.
I think we're all in agreement. Sean McVay, not a good coach.
No. And again, he wouldn't be able to address any of this because Puka being an idiot. And that was all his press conference was about last night.
You got a little bit of a problem on the wide receiver side now.
What a moron.
Puka, after the game,
what an idiot.
Must have sprinted to the locker room, immediately pulled out his phone.
Went by Sean on his way, too.
I bet you it was in his cleats. He's like, I'm going to do this on the field while he's looking at me.
Sean was asked about it post-game.
Oh, I'm going to watch the video.
I don't think he comes off as angry. Like, his tone doesn't come off as angry. You can tell
his eyes are angry.
Oh, my goodness.
His eyes are like if I say something to my wife incorrectly, and it's the F-U eyes, which I'm like, oh, geez, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Alongside Tanner and Alex, I'm BK. We've got Mike McKenna joining us in studio next here on 101 ESPN.
Make your picks for this week's Fastlane Pick'em Challenge at 101ESPN.com. Show off your football knowledge and see if you can top the Fastlane and the dudes from the Rizzuto show on the point for this week's top score. The top scorer each week scores a Bud Light NFL cooler stocked with 101 ESPN and point swag. It's the Fastlane and the Riz Show throwing down all football season long in the Pick'em Challenge. Enter your picks for this week now at 101ESPN.com.
The Fastlane Pick'em Challenge is refreshed by Bud Light, official beer of the NFL. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly.
St. Louis Blues' quest for the cup starts right here.
Big save on one end. Tie game on the other.
Tomorrow night, Blues and Panthers. Pre-game at 4. Puck drop at 5.
Score! He tucks it in with a great move.
This is your exclusive home for Blues hockey. 101 ESPN. 101 ESPN Sports Center.
Rangers require more than regulation, but still down note. Good morning, it's Bradford Bruns. Your Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night in St. Louis, J.T. Miller scored a .221 of OT, propelling New York past the Blues 2-1. Jordan Binnington made 29 saves. STL sits 21 points behind Central leading Colorado, entering tomorrow's bout against Florida. Offense was not an issue NFL-wise when Week 16 kicked off with Seahawks-Rams on Thursday. Seattle overcoming Puka Nakua's 225 receiving yards to stun L.A. 38-37. Currently, Myrtle Beach Bowl action sees Western Michigan pacing Kennesaw State 34-zip. Those CFP festivities begin roughly 8 hours from now. Alabama, Oklahoma, as 101 ESPN remains your destination for all postseason college pigskin. This Sports Center update has been driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet plus Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
This is BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Broadcasting live from the E&B Granite Studios at the Centene Community Ice Center. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmers Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN. We're going between the pipes with former NHL goaltender Mike McKenna.
Between the Pipes is refreshed by Macadoodle Spirits, fine wine, beer, and cigars. Now open in Darden Prairie.
Alongside Alex Ferrario and Tanner Hendrickson, I am Brandon Kiley. Happy to be joined in studio by our friend, the former NHL goalie. He's the one, the only Mike McKenna, joining us on a Friday, as he does each and every week. Mike, how you doing, man?
This is a great Friday.
It is great.
It really is. You know, and we've gone on the last, basically all year and loathed how the Blues lost before I came on every time. So we're not going to dwell on the fact that they did not pick up 2 points last night and only one. This is a great morning because I've already been up. I played with our Friday morning group at Kirkwood that skates every Friday, and we have the annual world famous breakfast afterwards at Duffy's in Kirkwood. And it's like things that make you happy in life. Skating with people everywhere from 35 to 75 years old. My dad, we get to play together. That breakfast is a lot of fun. Then, of course, I still had to go do work. So I went down to one of our distributors and picked up some booze. So
love it.
That's a good morning.
Here
then.
I am.
That's a good morning.
It's a nice morning for you. The Blues had a decent night last night. They did get a point. So it's not our typical Friday conversation where there's nothing that comes out of it. It wasn't all negative last night.
No, not really. I mean, you have to look at games objectively of whether somebody got run out of the building or didn't show up. And for the most part, they did. I thought it was a really – now, I'm a goalie. So, that was a really good goalie game.
Absolutely.
When you get to watch Igor Shesterkin and Jordan Binnington go back and forth as a goaltender, you're seeing some of the premier goalies in the world. These are, if Russia could get their act together and end up in the Olympics again, this is what we would want to see. And
we'll save that for the politics pod.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the hockey side, I just want to see Team Russia in the Olympics because, God, there are some really good players that would be playing.
Well, and I agree. You want to see best on best. But that's a whole, other conversation, obviously. But Binnington was outstanding in the second period. Shesterkin made some big saves. And did the Blues generate as much as they wanted? No. Was the power play a little anemic? It's still there. But, what I take away from the last two games especially, and that's the microcosm we're looking at now is 2 game spans, it feels like, they're working again. But they're also working because they got some really hungry players in the lineup. Mm-hmm. Berggren from Detroit's in. You're picking up – Luff is up. The Blues are now playing with a lineup that has a whole lot to prove here, whether short-term or long-term. And, I thought for most of the game, most of the stretches, it looked like that last evening. And I also think they're starting to figure out their defensive zone too. We talked about this, how they switched from zone to man-to-man. They've looked a lot more comfortable in that system lately. I think that's helped a little bit too.
Well, and it's providing a guy like Logan Mailloux to look a lot better. Like you talk, we'll get to Bergeron and Stenberg, I would imagine, shortly, but just on the Mayu side, because a few weeks ago we talked about how he looked like he needs to be in the American Hockey League. And Mike, ever since then, it's looked like he's comfortable. He's confident. Defensively, he's growing still. Some mistakes, but that's going to happen. But, man, offensively, now he's just in his own world where it's like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to run with it.
He needed to go to the American League, and that's what happened. And it was the right call. When you look at his analytics and his metrics of before and after that, they're way better.
Oh, yeah.
And it does coincide. Yeah, they've made some systematic changes. And I believe, I could be wrong on this, but, I mean, I played with Marty St. Louis. I know his tendencies. That team really, in Montreal, Marty St. Louis being the head coach there, yeah, that's a man-to-man on the puck type of system where Mayu would have been used to that for the last several years. So, yeah, he would feel more comfortable being able to play something he knows, but he's generating shots. So offensively, his possession numbers are way better.
And he goes behind the net. Like, he acts as if a forward, which I know people are like, well, why is he doing that? He's a defenseman. And that's how the NHL is now. Defensemen or forwards, they'll go in on the forecheck as long as you're covering on the back end.
Well, and the Blues have a guy named Broberg that does it pretty well. He's the world leader 3 times over in wraparound goals, and he's a defenseman. So, I mean, that part is, it's encouraging to see. I mean, the offensive side with this lineup, honestly, you're kind of looking at it going, what are we going to do? Well, you just have to manufacture goals. And, like, even in overtime, possession's great. But, man, at some point you just got to go, because look at the way the Rangers scored last night. That looked like a nothing burger, like it's really simple. Pass to the slot and shoot the puck, and there's some traffic even at 3-on-3.
How do you explain the Blues 3-on-3? I understand last night you don't have your dudes, but this is not a one-night thing. They're now 0-6 in overtime, and then, 0-2 in shootouts as well? How do you explain this?
Shootouts, kind of whatever.
Sure, but that's 8 times where you failed to score in overtime.
Those 2 shootouts, they also didn't have Jake Neighbors, and Jake Neighbors is their best shootout performer.
Yeah, the overtime factor, it's not just a tactical thing. It starts to get into their heads where now you're trying to figure out on the fly what you need to do to score instead of just playing hockey. Because really, Monty said after the game, some blown coverage and man-to-man. Well, realistically, at 3-on-3, there's just a lot of ice, man. Like, we don't have the luxury here in St. Louis of playing pond hockey, but once every 2 or 3 years, if we're lucky, if it gets cold enough for a while. You just don't grow up doing that. When there's that much ice, you just have so much room to operate that you can stagnate a bit. And I think at first it was thinking too much, waiting for the right chance. And now you got the factor of not having your top-end players, top-end talent also combined with trying to think their way through an overtime when you just got to go for it. Like, at some point now, I'd love to see him just run a face-off play and send 3 deep. I mean, what are you going to lose, right? Like, we did, look at that, guys, we did that one year, the first face-off of the season. I was playing for the Portland Pirates. We were coached by a guy named Tom Rowe, who I refer to as the great usurper. He took over the whole Florida Panthers organization, and then ever since they fired that guy, they took off, which is the right call. So T-Rex, they used to call him T-Rex. He also affectionately one year told us that he hopes everybody's miserable, including our wives and families at Christmas time. Great guy.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, really. Thanks, T-Rex. But he...
Tiny hands, too, probably, I would imagine.
Oh, gosh.
T-Rex.
Actually had bratwurst hands. He was a pretty scary guy. Kind of bald, looked like Mr. Clean. Like, he really was kind of terrifying. But he ran a face-off play, first game of the year. We're playing against the Providence Bruins. Lo and behold, Frank Vetrano was on that team, who we've discussed previously is my kryptonite. We ran the full shark, but it was the full shock. Our assistant coach was from Boston, so we thought he said shark when he went full shock, and he was saying shock. It meant all 5 players are basically going, win the draw forward, and off we go. So win the draw, and then the forwards were at the D, and they were supposed to go. Well, we lost the draw, and it was a 3-on-0.
Oh, jeez.
And Mike Matheson was one of our defensemen at the time. He plays with Montreal Canadiens now. Great player. He comes back. So, of course, they score, by the way. Guy comes in, 2-on-0, 3-on-0, makes a move, think he's going, he goes back door. It's in the net. Vetrano scores, of course. Matheson's crashing back, hammers the net. Net goes flying. Matheson misses 2 periods. We think our young prospect's dead, all because of the full shock. Anyway, sorry we went on a tangent.
Good,
but
good stuff there.
I think the full shock needs to come out in overtime for the Blues. Just send it.
Just win
go.
the face-off, apparently, on that one.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Berggren and Stenberg, Mike, and I am curious what stood out to you about those guys, because me personally, they both have looked like more than qualified NHL players. And frankly, for Berggren, looks like it's a guy who should get more opportunities in the top six.
And this is a guy that in Detroit scored 15 goals in a season while only playing 12 and a half minutes or so.
It's pretty good.
That's a lot of good. That's really good, especially as a young player, because as we know, there's not many young players that just come in and knock the door down. Like you got to progress your way unless you're a really top end pick a lot of times. So I've been impressed by his physicality in instances, but also his awareness on the ice seems to be really good. But it's just work ethic with those two, man. Like sometimes like the Swedish players, and we got, Berggren and a Stenberg, it kind of feels like trolls here with the names, eh? Like the Berggrens. What is it in Trolls? They're like
I have no idea.
Tanner, look that up for us.
The Trolls?
Trolls, the movie. There's the.
Oh, I'll
My
look it up.
2-year-old's not into it yet.
Yeah.
Mine are, but they just like the music.
I'm digging deep in the archives with the kids. But anyway, the thing about the Swedes and the Finns is they typically work. And that's what I see here. But that shot that he unleashed from the goal line like that, off the bar.
Oh, that was amazing.
That's filthy. And Shesterkin, was he down in RVH a little bit early? Yes. But there was no space there. And that's a confident shot. And that really is impressive to me for somebody who's kind of been in and out of the lineup and trying to get his way in. Like, you don't always take that shot. If you're feeling nervous or out of place or something, that tells me, especially Berggren, man, he's here to prove something. He's not going to go anywhere.
The Bergens.
They're the Bergen monsters.
Yes, the Bergens are coming. That's what I was thinking. And that's
pretty good,
name,
actually.
I can't get it out of my head.
It's pretty good, actually. What about Stenberg?
Well, with Stenberg, it's kind of, what can he evolve into is my question. Where's he going to fit on this team?
Well, Jim Montgomery said, like, upside Jesper Bratt for the New Jersey Devils. He said probably baseline Trevor Moore of the LA Kings.
Yeah, and those aren't necessarily the same person. Jesper Bratt can really skate, really sees the ice well. Trevor Moore has more grit to him. So, I mean, if you get well, we can't curse, but the child of those two together, if that is what we have with Stenberg, you know what I mean? Like, you're looking pretty good. But what excites me for me is vision, though. And that's what comes with Brad, especially. He was an undercover, very good player for a long time in Jersey until that team got better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I think with Stenberg. If you put him with some really like rock star middle six teammates that can really get a puck on net and put it in, like, think about him with Snuggerud or somebody too. Like, I could see these combinations working with his vision.
All right, Mike, we're getting close to the holidays here. We're about a week away from Christmas. Some people are celebrating Hanukkah right now as well. We got the New Year coming up. If anybody wants to come out to Macadoodles today, what can they expect as they walk through those doors?
We do have a nice selection of kosher wines. We got a full set over there as well. So anybody that's celebrating Hanukkah, we'd love to see you come on in. Getting ready for Christmas upcoming here as well. Basically, dude, we've just got our normal stuff and some hot prices right now. Like Jack Daniel's Heritage, that's their toasted bottle. We got that at $54.97. That's the lowest price in town. We're lower than Costco. We're lower than Randall's, Total Wine, you name it. We're lower than anybody on that. Vouv, if you need some bubbles. If you need some bubbles, we got Vouv, same deal. We're running $54.97 at our place. That's as low as you're going to find in a lot of it. We're doing some twofers, La Marca Prosecco, which is like red hot right now for mimosas, or if you're doing spritzes, those are 2 for $27.97 in our store. So, I mean, some really good prices in the wine room. And as always, like, you can walk into our place and we're not pushing our own product like one of our competitors does, that they've got, let's just call it a spade. It's not great product, but they like to push it on you and they make great money on it. It's not good. So, like, you can come in our store and we will help guide you to things that are at the right price for your budget, but also an undercover great wine because it may not be somewhere else in town. That's what we love to do. So, bourbon selection, as always, we've got all our barrel picks out. We've got the holiday wine. We've got all the creams. Bourbon cream, Ezra cream, plenty of Buffalo Trace, ready to rock at Macadoodles. Of course, we are north of the Page Extension at the corner of Bryan and Feisey Road.
Love going out there, getting everything you need for the holiday season. We love having Mike McKenna in with us each and every Friday here on BK and Ferrario. Mike, we appreciate the time as always, man. We'll talk with you next Tuesday ahead of the holidays. We'll do the next couple of Tuesdays with Mike McKenna. So if you have this as appointment listening, and you should, next Tuesday, the following Tuesday, we'll talk to Mike McKenna once again.
Well,
Mike,
thanks.
Appreciate the time as always.
You got it. We'll have to put it in Tom from Gray Eagles Rolodex that will be on at those times. And I think we all just wish we were on that plane to Florida with the Blues.
You ain't lying.
It's going to be Florida next week.
Excited about
You're
that.
right.
It's going to be 70 degrees on Christmas.
My inflatable Santa blew off the roof yesterday.
Oh, nice. Yeah, mine won't blow up anymore. I think it was too cold.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. Ask us anything coming up next.
You can now listen to 101 ESPN on demand. Get caught up on all our shows and podcasts at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 mobile app. 101 ESPN podcasts are presented by the Schaefer Door Company.
Hey, it's BK from my friends over at Victory Men's Health. It is time for you to unlock your inner champion. They've done it for me. They can do it for you as well. When you walk through the doors, you're going to find it's almost like family over there. They're going to personalize your plan for you because unlocking your inner champion means different things for different people. For me, it meant going through and finding out where my micronutrient levels were. When I first got my micronutrient levels tested over there, I was in a bit of a vegetarian kick, and that meant I needed certain things as supplements because I wasn't getting the same protein intake. I wasn't getting some of the same things that you do when you're eating a different kind of diet. So they were able to supplement that for me. I'm going over there again next week to find out, all right, now that I'm no longer doing the vegetarian diet, what makes sense for me? What should I be doing with my micronutrient levels? So they can do that for me. They can do something completely different for you if that's what you need. Weight loss goals that you're trying to meet, they can help you out with that. They can check your testosterone levels. They can help you out with erectile dysfunction. It's all super easy to book that first appointment. Go to victorymenshealth.com. That's victorymenshealth.com. Book that first appointment today. Super easy process. Unlock your inner champion at Victory Men's Health and online at victorymenshealth.com.
Do you have what it takes to beat the Blues? Tune into BK and Ferrario every week for your shot to take on a member of your St. Louis Blues. And you can win a signed puck and tickets to an upcoming game.
Can You Beat the Blues is presented by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Live from the Centene Community Ice Center inside the E&B Granite Studios. You're tuned into BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmer's Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN. You've got questions, we may have the answers. Maybe. It's BK and Ferrario's Questions and Answers on 101 ESPN.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Ask Us Anything. If you have any questions, sports or otherwise, we'll get to those here in just a moment. By the way, there is a 3-team trade that just went down in Major League Baseball that we'll get to on the other side. It includes somebody that was potentially holding up the Brendan Donovan market. So we'll get to that here in just a little bit. From the 314, guys, I was curious, why is T-Bone still a Rams fan? I'm guessing he was too young to be a part or to see them win their Super Bowl. So why is he a Rams fan today?
Well, yeah, you jerk.
I was in, let's see, when did they move? 2016? I was working at the soda shop, I remember. So I was in high school when they left town. And it, like, don't get me wrong, it sucked to watch my team move because that meant I was probably never going to watch another one of their games in person. And I haven't since. And my dad and I would go to a game once a year when they were here in St. Louis. I just couldn't convince myself to switch to another team, right? Like, in my area, it would have been either the Bears or the Colts because those were the two teams we always got games on for. And at the time, like, the Colts were without Peyton Manning. They weren't very good. Or they were kind of good with Andrew Luck. The Bears, I hate everything about Chicago. So I couldn't do it. And I eventually just decided, you know what, I'm not going to be mad at the players I grew up watching. It's more on the owner. And don't get me wrong, I still think Kroenke sucks, but I couldn't move away. Like, I loved watching Aaron Donald, Todd Gurley at the time, and I didn't want to switch allegiances, so I just decided to stick as a Rams fan.
From the 636, BK, how do you feel that pro sports will be out of KCMO in the not-too-distant future? If you don't know, there's an official announcement coming from Topeka on Monday for the Chiefs to move and the Royals sometime soon. I'm not sure that the Royals are actually involved with that in any capacity, but it does sound as though the Chiefs are going to be moving over to the Kansas side. And listen, I love Arrowhead. Arrowhead Stadium is a place that I basically grew up in as a sports fan. Like many of you have your ties to Busch, whichever Busch you grew up with, whether that's 1, 2, or 3. That was me with Arrowhead Stadium. Being in that parking lot, being a part of the tailgates, that was my childhood. That was my upbringing. And so I have a lot of fond memories of that. That being said, I don't believe Arrowhead was ever going to exist in its current form 5 years from now. I think the Chiefs' plan was always basically outside of the owner. Everybody else within the front office structure, the business side of things, their plan was always to move to a big stadium that they can build almost exclusively because Patrick Mahomes is currently their quarterback, and this is their opportunity to do so, similar to Indianapolis getting the dome when Peyton Manning was their quarterback. So if that's the case, if I start under the assumption that Arrowhead wasn't going to be their home stadium in 2031, no matter what, I don't care that they're moving to the Kansas side. It doesn't really bother me. As long as they stay in Kansas City, that's what I care about. Like, I'm trying to think of the closest comparison for this. It's probably the Rams. If the Rams had stayed in St. Louis, but they did so while moving to the other side of the river or moving to St. Charles or to Chesterfield or to Earth City or wherever their new location was for a stadium, I think Rams fans, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think Rams fans would have been like, all right.
At least they're here.
At least they're here in St. Louis. That's how I feel about the Chiefs. It's different because the dome is certainly not what Arrowhead means to Chiefs fans, but that's where I'm at with that. All right, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text
Real
line.
quick, before we get to the next question, some more Major League Baseball news. I think this is a guy you had interest in. According to Ken Rosenthal, the Orioles are in serious discussions with the Rays on a trade for right-handed pitcher Shane Baz. Sources tell The Athletic Rays would require a prospect in return.
Interesting. Yeah, Shane Baz is a really interesting young starter. Has not had the success that people expected. That'd be a nice move for the Orioles. I do wonder about him pitching for a contender. That's not the type of spot that I would have landed for him.
What, they're 2 or 3? I know they're running with Trevor Rogers as potentially their 2, but I wouldn't count on that either.
I wonder if that. I don't know. That's interesting. He's a fun pitcher, though. He's got really good stuff. All right, top 3 needs. This comes from the 636. Guys, top 3 needs at the moment for Mizzou in the portal. Would you consider it to be wide receiver, defensive end, and offensive line? Receiver definitely up there right now. That's probably, honestly, the number 1 need. Number 2 is probably cornerback. And number 3, I think, depends on how you feel about Matt Zollers. If you think Zollers is the guy next year, then I'll go ahead and go defensive line. Probably defensive tackle, if we're being honest. If you don't think Zollers is the guy, though, then quarterback is probably, I mean, you could even argue number 1 on the list.
I think it's also determined by if you find the cornerback, because if you could find some cornerbacks and you get an elite defense, then maybe you're not as concerned because you feel like you could keep them close. I would put cornerback or quarterback on that top three before I would put a defensive line on that.
Yeah, I think if you believe quarterback, it's by far number one. I have said I would probably stick with Zollers. I saw enough in the contest, I think it was against Vandy, to where I thought, okay, if you give this guy some time to develop, I think he could be really good. Now, that could all change depending on how he plays against Virginia in their bowl game, but I would say not that. So I think you're looking at, I would put O-line on there. It wouldn't be number one, but I do think they need O-line help, corner, and then defensive line as well.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. All right, last thing here. This comes from the YouTube chat. Nearby Gnome 2017. Alex, why doesn't 101 do a live stream for the pregame the way that you do for a postgame?
If I'm being 100% honest, I don't know if it's that appealing to people on YouTube for the pregame. There's just a lot of elements that are previously recorded. There's elements that is player audio interviews that I do. It would be a lot of you staring at me rather than like the postgame. It's you're watching me and Joey talk or me talk about the Blues. There's some elements that you'll hear audio on, but that would be my answer. Rather than just sit there and stare at me, look at my notes and look at the computer, you're actually seeing us talk on postgame.
All right, coming up next, there are a couple of trades that I want to get to in Major League Baseball, including one that would seem to have a trickle-down effect for the Cardinals market for Brendan Donovan. We'll tell you what those are coming up next here on BK and Ferrario.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis 101 ESPN is driven by Brown and Krugman Law Firm.
Hey, it's BK alongside Alex Ferrario for our friends at Underdog. It is time for you to get in on the action. And this weekend, Alex, man, there is no shortage of action that you can get in on. NFL tomorrow and Sunday, college football starting tonight and tomorrow. You got college hoops, you got NHL tonight, a Jake Paul fight as well.
Right.
All kinds of stuff over on the Underdog app. For me, I have a gimme pick. They gave me a gimme on Josh Allen, higher than 0 passing and rushing yards combined on Sunday.
Gimme.
I'll go ahead and take that. I'm also going to focus on this Jags versus Broncos game. I've got higher on Trevor Lawrence passing yards, higher on Jacoby Myers receiving yards, and Nick Bonito to get a sack. Put that all together, 8-1 odds over on the Underdog
And
app.
BK mentioned that big Jake Paul fight tonight. You can get Underdog Unwrapped with unwrapping tons of promos all throughout that holiday season and get that boost over on the Jake Paul fight tonight. So download the Underdog app today. Use promo code BKO to score $75 on bonus entries when you play your first $5. Promo code BKO. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
blues talk, check out the Last Minute Blues podcast with Alex Ferrario, Donny Fandango, and Jeremy Rutherford on 101 ESPN. The guys bring you the latest news and nuggets on your St. Louis Blues.
The Last Minute Blues podcast is presented by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Your St. Louis roofing experts. Visit BlueNoteRoofing.com for a free inspection. Watch or listen to the Last Minute Blues podcast now at 101ESPN.com.
BK and Ferrario are broadcasting live from the E&B Granite Studios at the Centene Community Ice Center. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmers Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN.
Break news in Major League Baseball. Not one, but two trades, both involving the Tampa Bay Rays. As T-Bone mentioned in our last segment, the Rays are expected to send Shane Baz to the Baltimore Orioles. If you're not familiar with Shane Baz, he was the 12th overall selection by the Pirates back in 2017. Previously, a really big prospect in Major League Baseball, was part of the Chris Archer trade that sent him to Tampa Bay. Had Tommy John in September of 2022, missed all of 23, made 31 starts in his first season back last year. Still has 3 years of club control remaining. Big arm, big time stuff. Mediocre results so far in Major League Baseball. We do not have, as far as I have seen at least, the return on this deal. Sounds like a minor league pitcher or a minor league prospect or two in return, but do not have the official names on what the return is going to be. Again, the Orioles acquiring Shane Baz. That's one of the two trades. The other trade, again, involving the Tampa Bay Rays, and this one is more important, in my opinion, for the Cardinals. Brandon Lowe is heading to Pittsburgh along with Mason Montgomery, a pretty bad bullpen arm, and Jake Mangum, a 29-year-old rookie. They're all heading to Pittsburgh. The big move there is Brandon Lowe. Houston is involved with this. They are getting a guy by the name of Mike Burrows, a pitcher from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Actually was pretty good last year. Mike Burrows finished with a 4 ERA and 96 innings for Pittsburgh. Previously was, I think, a part of a futures game a couple of years ago. And Tampa Bay gets two borderline top 100 prospects. So in return for Brandon Lowe, who only has one more year of club control, and in my opinion, is not quite as good of a player as Brendan Donovan, they get, again, two borderline top 100 prospects. So this kind of sets the bar for Chaim Bloom on what he should be expecting in return for Brendan Donovan. I would say a slightly better return than this is what Cardinals fans should be looking for, because Brendan Donovan slightly better as a player and with another year of club control compared to what Brandon Lowe has.
I mean, if I'm Chaim Bloom and his staff, I'm kind of high-fiving when I see that trade, because like we talked with the Mariners insider who said that this was the other option for the Mariners if they don't do Ketel Marte or Brendan Donovan. And it was kind of a tiers list of Marte at the top, then Donovan, then Lowe. Okay, well, if you're the Mariners and you checked in on that, you just mentioned two borderline prospect or top 100 prospects. That's the price to get Lowe. And so if I'm the Mariners, do I want to pay the hefty price of Marte? Probably not, from what she told us. If I'm the Mariners, this is what it's going to cost. It's going to cost a little higher price to go get those guys. And again, if I'm Chaim and his staff, I'm looking at this saying, great, now we know teams are going to see that and say, yeah, you need to up the ante if you want to get Brendan Donovan from what they just paid to get Lowe. So I think this is a massive positive for the Cardinals, and I hope this means that the Mariners are going to start really getting aggressive making those phone calls.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you look at this, it now gives you groundwork for like a little bit of a, I don't know if you'd call it a baseline, but like the bare minimum. And of course, if you're the Cardinals, you're shooting above and beyond this because he had 1 year of control left. So I think you're right. I think what you said of Chaim Bloom and his staff kind of celebrating seeing what Lowe was getting, and a guy that, again, never felt like he was probably a realistic target for the Mariners. He always felt like a Pittsburgh Pirate. Now you get to go to the Mariners, the Giants. Who else maybe gets involved in this if some third party comes involved during the Donovan conversations? And you can at least pinpoint and say, okay, this is what Baltimore, or this is what the Pirates had to trade to get him. You have to top that because Donovan's got more control and we believe a better player.
Now, I do want to say the Astros were the team that sent the two prospects here. Not all systems are created equally. The Astros do not have a particularly good system right now. Jacob Melton was part of this deal. He's a 25-year-old left-handed outfielder, a former second-round pick. He's the number 2 rated prospect in their system. He is one that was sent in this deal. Another one, Anderson Brito. He's a pitcher in their system, formerly a Venezuelan pitcher who signed in the international free agency market a couple of years ago. He's real small. He's 5'10", $155. So kind of that, I would say kind of similar to what the Cardinals have in their system with Tink Hence, that kind of a profile. He's the 7th overall prospect in their system. He's multiple years away from reaching the big leagues on MLB pipeline. They have him listed as ETA is 2027. That might even feel a little aggressive considering last year he finished the season at high A ball. And again, he's a pretty slight guy. So again, this is a starting point. This is where you can begin the negotiations if you're Chaim Bloom and say, all right, our guy is better than this guy and he's got another year of control. They just got 2 borderline top 100 prospects. Your pitcher needs to be better than this pitcher. Your position player needs to be better than this position player. That's what we're expecting in any kind of a Brendan Donovan deal. And T-Bone, you said this during the break. This shows that at least for some teams, the Christmas holiday appears to be acting as some sort of a deadline where they're trying to get their business in order prior to a lot of GMs, front offices try to take some kind of a break around the holiday so they can, be around their families for a couple of days. So I wonder if we get something this weekend or early next week, some kind of real momentum on a deal for Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, and I think it was, I can't remember if it was Passan or Rosenthal. Everybody's been reporting all week long. So, but they said, hey, there was a lot of trades. I think it was Passan. So there's a lot of trades that are being talked about. It's just a matter of teams trying to figure out and finalize their plans. And I think you're seeing this is what they are. This is the deadline for them. They want to get this done before we get into the new year and then figure things out based on your eyes. I see you've seen the return that I saw for what Baz got.
Whoa.
He got 2 top 10 prospects out of the Orioles system and a competitive balance round A
top
pick.
50 pick.
Yeah. They gave up a haul for him.
I would not have done this.
I kind of like it because his strikeout stuff, I just saw a pitching profile thing tweet out. His stuff should play a little bit better in Baltimore, which is more pitcher friendly.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I'm not giving up this for him.
Not giving up that.
Just go to the market, dude. Just spend money.
If you're the Orioles and you say, hey, it's not worth – I still think they're going to, by the way. I think they're going to go out there and sign Valdez, put him at the top along with – we're Baltimore.
Go get if you're willing to give this up, go get Mackenzie Gore.
This wouldn't get it done for Gore. I think Gore would acquire more because he's not –
I agree with that. I think Gore's going to get you a major league player.
And, again, it's 2 of their top 10 prospects. These guys aren't even top 100 currently, according to MLB.com's top 100 prospects.
Neither of them are?
The competitive balance pick alone will get you a top 100 prospect.
Yeah, I mean,
but the 2 prospects aren't top 100, both of them.
Neither are.
Oh, okay. Well, and
before we go too far on that, one of the players that they gave up was the 37th overall pick in this last year's draft. That's basically a competitive balance round A pick. So they're giving up next year's top 40 selection, a top 40 selection from this year that they just had. He's 18 years old. He didn't even participate in a game for them this past season. And then beyond that, they've got a guy who was a first-round pick, 30th overall in this past year's draft. So they're basically giving up 3 first-round picks for Shane Baz. Nah, man.
Shows you the value of pitching. I mean,
good.
It is a little bit. It is an overpay.
It's a huge overpay.
I mean, I wasn't going to tell you that Baltimore's GM, what's his name, Ellis, is some genius. I mean, look at how bad they failed this past year. Their offseason included signing a pitch-to-contact pitcher from Japan and Tyler O'Neill. So,
oh my God,
I still think because they're clearly pushing now. They are all in, and they wanted to part with prospects to get an arm of control. That's not going to cost a lot. I still expect they're going to the market for somebody.
They also gave up a reliever who last year in Double-A had a 1.8 ERA.
That's Double-A.
With an 11 strikeout per 9 innings strikeout rate. So they gave up a reliever who might impact the major league roster this year, and basically the equivalent to, 3 first-round selections? Okay.
Baseball Trade Value says the deal is accepted by their model.
Okay. Well,
I think you need to calm down over here.
Yeah.
By my model.
You and your first-round picks. Bleep them picks.
The BKM, the BK model. This is a significant
Let me tell you, I never would look at the BKM.
I would just rather have, I would go to the market and sign, I don't know, Framber Valdez and give me Jordan Montgomery. Framber Valdez and Jose Quintana.
The problem for the Orioles is they probably have pushed themselves close to their budget already with the Alonso signing. That would be my guess.
Your BKM is 2 letters off, buddy.
Yeah. And stay on budget BKM model, would you?
You need to count those letters.
You guys know I would never stay on budget.
You're not going to last long at the Provo.
You would
Because as we know, the main goal of a president of baseball operations isn't necessarily winning. It's mostly just do you stay on
what
budget.
he would do is he would
Can
just
I ask
quit.
a quick question for you guys?
Yes. There are no stupid questions.
2 letters is a no, is what you're wondering.
But
would you guys trade Matthew Liberatore?
Are you just going to trade the guy, or are you going to tell me what I'm getting back in return?
I mean, if this is the price for pitching, I don't think Matthew Liberatore is Shane Bass. He doesn't have that kind of stuff.
Doesn't have that good stuff.
But if you could get like a competitive balance pick for Matthew Liberatore and you replace him in your rotation by going and acquiring, I don't know, Jose Quintana this offseason.
I would listen on it. I don't think you're getting that for Libby, though.
You're not getting all of this. No chance.
I just keep Libby and see what he is.
Okay.
See, I would listen. Like, I'm not shutting down any call of someone that makes that, because if someone would value him, I just don't know how much he's valued across baseball, because I think there's fair questions about, is he actually a starter based on how he fell apart.
And I'd get those questions answered this year and then trade him if we're in that.
That's probably fair. But
scenario.
he's only got, what, one or 2 years of control left after this year? Like, the value would go down a little bit. But, yeah, I think that's a fair point of, like, have him prove to be a starter first. Like a legitimate, he can start 30 games in the second half of the year. Marmole's not answering questions about his velo after the second inning.
Trade him at the deadline.
I think
trade him in the offseason.
Talk about it. Yeah.
From the 618, I'm not sure why the two of you continue to argue with BK. Don't you know that he's always right? I'm curious what
that was sarcasm.
I'm curious what people think that we do here. Like,
we should argue about other things like players' numbers, things like that.
Alex is big mad about something he saw on social media, and I'll just leave it at that. If I didn't have a point of view and argue based upon that point of view, what's the point of me being here?
As long as we don't like punch each other, like we're fine to argue with each other.
We've been close to it before. Well, I mean, two of us. I was gonna say I can argue with Tanner all day, and it's actually fun for me.
Like if you have brothers or sisters, I would imagine you probably bicker a decent amount. That's basically what we're doing here. The three of us talk to each other as much as I talk to my wife. So, like, yeah, we have a lot of stuff that we bicker about. Also, I love these guys. Like, I would go to battle any day with these guys. And it's one of those it's one of those things, like, you can pick on your little brother, but nobody else can pick on your little brother things.
Well, and also, like,
feel on this show,
what are you wanting to listen to? Do you want to listen to three people that just agree with each other on everything? Hey, would you do this? No, I wouldn't do this. No, I wouldn't do this either. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, man.
From the 217, it's because you're so adamant, BK. Well, yeah, because I believe something.
My whole stance when I give an opinion, it's probably not a great stance to have, but anytime I say something, my initial belief is I'm right, and if someone wants to argue with me, they're wrong, but I'm going to stick with my guns.
Yeah,
like BK going for 2 on the Rams scoring in overtime, stupid.
2 or 3, you've been ruled out on that one.
There have been a lot of times where I will argue something, and by the end of the discussion, I'm like, you know what, I'm wrong on this. And I acknowledge as much.
Or the arguments end with, I still believe what I believe. You haven't changed my mind. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Let's move on then.
Somebody said, is BK slap happy today? No, I've got a little bit of a cold, so maybe that plays into it. But also, we're all like on the verge of getting into vacation mode. We have 2 days next week, 2 days the following week. T-Bone's out for.
I got to tell you, I really did not want to get out of bed this morning.
You and me both, brother. Back-to-back 7 o'clock games.
Somebody said I would not go to battle with you guys. I saw the home run derby. That's fair.
I hit the wall, you jerk. Let's see what you can do. Barry, I guarantee you couldn't get it out of the infield.
They probably could.
No.
And that's okay.
Hit the wall.
Ready to acknowledge
get it out of the infield. Weren't you out of the infield?
Well, yeah, but they
I was going to say.
We literally started
behind second base.
Still hit the wall. I think that kid like pushed it off. That was at least going to bounce off the wall. It was a 50-50 bounce,
By the way, it always makes me sad when BK brings up the stat of like, this group is who I talk to more than my wife. And I'm going, man, I don't talk to anybody when I get home. I need a girlfriend. This is sad.
Or a dog.
Yeah, or a dog. I got to pay more for that, though.
I don't know about that.
On the open market. We'll get into that in 15 minutes. Our football pick'em is coming up next here on 101 ESPN.
It's time for another moment in Blues history.
On this day back in 2013, the Blues would put 5 up on the Montreal Canadiens, beating Carey Price. The goal scorers for St. Louis was Alexander Steen, shorthanded. Alexander Steen at even strength, Chris Stewart, Jaden Schwartz, and Maxim Lapierre. Getting the victory for the Blues was former Canadian Yaroslav Halak, stopping 25 of 26 shots.
This date in Blues history is powered by Classic Air Care.
Make your life more comfortable for all your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs. ClassicAirCare.com.
Tanner Hendrickson here in Missouri. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now, you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. College football playoff gets underway tonight, and I think I'm going Oklahoma -1.5, and I'm going under 40.5. And right now on the DraftKings Sportsbook, they've got a 30% profit boost for the college football playoff game tonight. So download that DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TANNER as new Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code TANNER. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Fiscally present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
ESPN has your chance to win a 4-pack of passes to Monster Jam, January 17th and 18th at the Dome at America's Center. Get ready to cheer, scream, and be amazed as massive Monster Jam trucks and world champion drivers take over St. Louis for the ultimate day packed with high-flying action and jaw-dropping stunts. Get all the info and enter to score a free 4-pack of tickets for Monster Jam now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app. Broadcasting live from the Centene Community Ice Center inside the E&B Granite Studios. This is BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmer's Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN.
alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK. If you're on YouTube, you just saw Alex flexing.
No, I was yawning and stretching, but I did do lifts on the chest yesterday, so the chest is a little tight.
You're a gym rat now. We get it.
YouTube.com/101
my shirts don't fit.
ESPN STL is where you can go to find us. You can also text in at 314-399-9646. It's 1229. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, and officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Yeah, we're a little behind.
30 actually. You're subtracting. That's like T-Bone saying he's 6'1".
All right.
I said 6 foot.
For those that aren't familiar with the way that we do our football pick'em, each and every week we'll give you 3 picks against the spread. No props, no point totals, just flat out against the spread. So far, Alex has been the best this season with 47 points. I'm second with 40. T-Bone has 38. Through 2 weeks, though, in December, T-Bone and I are tied at the top of the standings with 7. Alex has 4. We will have both a December punishment and a full season punishment when we get to the end of this month. Because I am ahead of T-Bone and am tied with him in the month of December, I will go first, then T-Bone, then Alex for our picks for this week. 3 picks against the spread. I'll start with my 1-point play. I'm going to the college football slate this weekend, boys. I don't get the Miami love. I think Texas A&M, and I've been saying it all year long, has one of the best defenses in the country. You're going to give Mike Elko multiple weeks to prepare for a Miami offense that has been erratic at best, and when Carson Beck is bad, boy, is he really bad. Go ahead and give me Texas A&M at home as a 3-point favorite against Miami, who I don't think has a particularly good football coach. So I'll take Texas A&M as my 1-point play minus the 3 points.
I like the pick, and I considered it. A&M's last game scared me away from it. And that's the only reason why, because I don't believe in what all the scouts or the coaches were saying of Miami's a sleeper team. That's ridiculous. I just lost faith in A&M based on that one game. So my 1-point play, I'm going to start in the NFL. And, guys, Quinn Ewers got terrible advice this past offseason. He should be playing quarterback at a Power 5 conference right now, not being the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, who just benched Tua. I think he's going to struggle. I think the Bengals, looks like T. Higgins questionable to play. Don't care. He's out or he's playing. They're going to kick the crap out of the Dolphins. Give me the Bengals minus 4.5 against Miami.
This is my 2-point play. Yeah, I was very skeptical of this originally because Bengals have nothing to play for. But, man, I don't know how the Dolphins put up points with Quinn Ewers. Like, at least Tua has some talent. I don't know if Quinn has that. And I don't think the Bengals are very good. I think that's very obvious. Burrow isn't as bad as he was last week. So this is a game that I feel like the Bengals get themselves a little bit more right. And 4.5, again, scared me, but there weren't a whole lot of other options that I wanted to go higher than the Bengals. So that's why I had it as my 2-point play.
Man, that's really interesting. I did not want anything to do with this line, and it's because of the Bengals defense. I think you could see on the Dolphins side of things, I think in our Wayno League this week, I'm probably going to play Devon Achane. I think he's going to have an absolutely monster game. And if he puts up a crazy game against that defense, which has been putrid for most of the season, I just have a fear that the Bengals win like 23-20, 27-24, and then you don't end up covering.
I also think, though, that Quinn Ewers is going to get a little horned up with the football in his hand, and he's going to try and throw a little downfield, and that's where the picks come in.
That's fair. My 1-point play.
It is 4.5, by the way, right?
Yeah.
4.5.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
My 1-point play was the only college game that I have on this slate. My other 2 will both be in the NFL, and I'm guessing one of them is a pick that all 3 of us are potentially going to have. Vegas is wrong.
Every freaking time, man.
Sunday Night Football. The Patriots, who are an actual good football team, are going on the road to take on the Ravens, who are not a good football team. And the Ravens are a 3-point home favorite. I just think that's wrong. I think the Patriots are the better team. I'm going to pick them to win straight up. Give me the Patriots plus the 3.
So I originally had it as my 2-point play, but I've got to catch somebody so I don't end up with the end of season punishment. So as they would say in Friends, pivot.
That.
I am going now as my 2-point play. Texans minus 14 against the Raiders. That is a huge spread.
Ooh,
guys.
I had that at 14.5. Has it changed?
It's changed down to 14. If it was 14.5, I was not going to take it.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, you're going to get 14 and lose.
I think the Texans are maybe the hottest team in football right now. The offense looks great. We just saw them previously. I can't remember who they played, but they picked apart a bad defense. Raiders. The defense is going to make life living hell for Geno Smith in that offense. I don't see how the Raiders score points, and I think the Texans win this game like 28-3 or 28-7. I think this is going to be an ugly game to watch. I think the Texans win this easily. So give me Texans minus 14 against the Raiders.
I liked it originally, but that's just too big of a spread. But I'm not going to pivot. I'm going to take what BK had as my 3-point play. I looked at that this morning, and I'm like, are you serious? Might bite me in the ass because, he decided to call Vegas out once again. Like, don't know why we have to do that. But Patriots +3, it felt like a lot.
Surprised you're not going to pivot because you're potentially in line for punishment.
Not really, though. I'm up on 7 on the overall
Yeah,
punt.
but
I'm not worried about this month. Big picture, I'm worried about.
We're going to make this one worse now.
There's also another week left.
Yeah, that's why next week is the one that I'll pivot. But right now, I'm comfortable. I need 3 points in the big picture of things, and nobody can catch me in the overall standings.
All right, my 3-point play, I'm glad this has moved a bit. It has gone from 3 most of the week to 3.5 in most places today.
Doing this one too?
I like the Jaguars on the road at the Broncos. The Broncos defense has been a little leaky lately. I do not like what I'm seeing out of them. I think the Jaguars are going to get a few explosive plays. There was news yesterday that the Jaguars have extended Jacoby Myers for 3 years. He's going to be around for a little while longer. I think that's a really smart move by them. Jacoby Myers has been great since coming over to the Jaguars. He's exactly what the doctor ordered. Now, I am a bit nervous about this pick because here are the offenses that the Jaguars defense has looked good against in recent weeks. The Titans, the Colts, the Jets with Brady Cook. So the Jaguars defense before then allowed 35 against LA, 29 against the Raiders, 36 against the Houston Texans. It has not always been rainbows and lollipops for the Jaguars. I like them this week, though. I think they have enough explosive plays. They ultimately win this game outright. I will take them plus the 3.5. Love that. I've got the hook against the Broncos.
That was mine too. It came down to the Jaguars plus 3.5 or the Eagles -7. And I kind of went into the same line of thinking that T-Bone mentioned this morning. I don't know how the Eagles put up points, regardless if I don't believe in the Commanders. It's on the road. I think it's false love right now for the Jaguars, but I do think they at least have pressure on them. All of my other matchups, I didn't know if there was pressure on the teams to win. The Jaguars do, despite Grandpa Rivers being the quarterback for the team behind them, they do still have to try and distance themselves so they can get that number 1 seed. So I think this will be very meaningful for Jacksonville versus Denver. So that's why I went them as the 1-point play.
And this is your 3-point play, right?
It is.
Wow. I look at
really
this
ballsy,
one. I didn't have a great feel for it. It was one if I had to pivot for my 1-point play, but I was going the opposite side. I get what you're saying about the Denver defense being a little bit leaky. I think they're going to right that ship. Now, maybe I'm a week ahead of when they do that, but I think they're going to make life live in hell, and I just don't trust Trevor Lawrence. So I would have taken Denver 3.5 as a 1-point play if I had to. But
I didn't like it at 3, love it at 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's fair, especially if you're going with Jags on the plus the points. All right, my 3-point play, I'm going to college football. I want to look in the camera and say this. James Madison belongs in the college football playoff. They do. They're going to get killed, but they belong there, okay? So the Ducks, minus 20.5, they're going to cover the spread. They're probably going to win by like 35-0. Give me Oregon minus 20.5 against James Madison tomorrow.
T-Bone's going 2 massive lines.
My concern with that one is that the spread no longer matters for Oregon. And so, I fear they'll go into the fourth quarter, they're up 28-7.
And not want to get injured.
And then they'll pull their starters. James Madison will score, and it's a stupid backdoor cover. That's my only fear. I do agree with you. I think they're 20 points better than James Madison, but because it's a win in advance situation, I just get nervous about a 20.5 spread. But I get it. It's a totally fine pick.
I hate to say this about these group of 5 schools. I think Oregon's backups are better than their starters.
That's fair.
And if that's the case, I even think the backups could score.
I was listening to that NFL draft podcast the other day, and they kind of skipped this game for the James Madison side because they said there's one player on their team that has a chance of being drafted, whereas Oregon, they said, is in contention to be 2nd or 3rd in most players drafted. So the talent level, there's no question. It's very much in favor of the Oregon side of things. That's our picks for the week. We will reveal those on Monday. We'll let you know how we all do. If you guys want to get involved in the action, check it out on the Underdog app. Promo code BKO. That's what you can use for us if you want our promo code. And for T-Bone, you can check him out as well.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code Tanner.
Can get involved in all of the action this weekend. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we will dive into the junk drawer. But next, what are the Blues worth this year on the open market? there is an NHL insider that gave his perspective on that. We'll let you know next year on 101 ESPN.
This holiday season, help cheer on St. Louis high school basketball teams as they compete to support the fight to end cancer as we know it for everyone. Join the American Cancer Society Coaches vs. Cancer Holiday Tournament, December 27th through 30th at Maryville University. Enjoy great games and a community coming together against cancer. Learn more at 101ESPN.com. St. Louis Blues hockey can be heard exclusively on 101 ESPN. Get the info you need before and after every Blues game with a First Community pre- and post-game show. First Community Credit Union.
Take your best shot with First Community and presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
Rangers send Blues south on sour notes. I'm Bradford Bruns. Your Sports Center update is presented by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Despite Jordan Binnington's 29 saves, New York edged St. Louis Thursday evening 2-1 in overtime. Tomorrow's scene shifting to Florida. Panthers STL puck drop set for 5 p.m. Sam Bennett's club just knocked off Los Angeles. City of Angels football. The Rams suffer an epic collapse against Seattle 38-37. Sam Darnold's Seahawks seizing that one-game lead out west. College gridiron, we feature CFP Round 1 action tonight. Alabama, Oklahoma from Norman's Memorial Stadium. Missouri, meanwhile, seeing Bo Perbula pursue his portal options. Freshman QB Matt Zollers will start versus Virginia next weekend. This SportsCenter update has been powered by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
This is BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Broadcasting live from the E&B Granite Studios at the Centene Community Ice Center. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmers Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN.
Rutherford had a good piece earlier today over on The Athletic. He broke down each and every Blues trade target with Chris Johnston, who's one of the best NHL insiders in the business, going through why he would be moved, what the NHL's interest level could be, who some potential teams are that could be interested in each respective player, and then ultimately the part that we all care about the most, what could the Blues get if they made player X available? So I wanted to go through these, and we can do these kind of one by one, on which players could be available and what the Blues could get in return for them, and if that entices you to potentially trade them this year on the open market. All right, so the first player that they mentioned was Jordan Binnington. We all know his situation. They said the Montreal Canadiens and Detroit Red Wings would be two interesting landing spots for him. And Chris Johnston says the market for goalie trades tends to fluctuate wildly since they're so case dependent, but Binnington should bring back a first-round pick and another player or prospect in return. Alex, for you, would that be enough to make the move for Jordan Binnington? First-round pick plus a player or a prospect?
Yes, it would be enough for me to move him. I just don't believe the Blues will move him. If we fast forward to next season, then I would have a different tone. But for right now, because I don't believe the Blues are trying to be bad for the next 3 years, you don't have an internal replacement to have a backup with Joel Hofer. Now, maybe they get one in return. I would say that if that's the offer, if I'm getting a top prospect and a first-round pick, then I absolutely listen to this because it's for the betterment of the future of your team. Even though I love Jordan Binnington and think it would be dumb to trade him, I just don't believe they do it at this year's deadline.
Yeah, I would do it. But I wonder if the Blues would because of what you said with the goalie situation, because all of a sudden then you have to ride Hofer out the rest of the way. You can maybe acquire a backup goalkeeper in the trade or go trade for a backup goalkeeper as things go along because it's clear their minor league goalies aren't ready. But, yeah, I would do this because he just doesn't fit the timeline for the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, I feel the same way. If you're out of it at the deadline, this is something that I would seriously consider if I'm in the Blue shoes. All right, the next player up is Pavel Buchnevich. They basically said, yeah, I don't know if anybody in the NHL is going to be interested in him, but maybe the Sharks, maybe the Blue Jackets. He says the best the Blues could hope is recouping some of the cap space that Buch is currently eating up. They would almost certainly have to take back another bad contract or attach a sweetener in order to just get him off of the books. Alex, on this note for Pavel Buchnevich, you said that you saw something earlier today from our guy David Pagnotta saying that, hey, there may be some interest around the league in Buch.
Yeah, so NHL Rumor Report on X, it basically just listens to all insiders.
It's an aggregator.
Yeah, they tweeted out earlier today. Yeah, aggregator, I know what that means. Inside Sports was a show that Pagnotta was on earlier today, and this is what he said. We started to hear Pavel Buchnevich's name starting to circulate. He's got a full no trade, but I think there might be a willingness in the right environment to explore moving on. So read into that as you may.
I'll bet against it, and I don't think he's moving. I don't think they should.
I would too. The way that Johnston presents it, I don't know if I necessarily agree with how he presents it. I think if the Blues make that trade and he is willing to accept a trade, they would be looking for a player that's making around the same money that they believe fits better into their team. Now, maybe it's a guy that needs a change of scenery. Maybe it's a guy that's been terrible on another team and just needs to get out. But I don't know this is just a pure salary dump trade. Otherwise, they look at it and say, well, we'll just keep him on our third line. Like, it's not a detriment to our team. I don't look at it as the Blues are going to eat salary and just get rid of him.
All right, next one up, Justin Falk, Blues defenseman that previously a lot of fans were ready to ship out for basket of pucks, but now it seems as though he might have a legit market. They say the teams that might be interested in Falk include the Panthers, the Mammoth, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Chris Johnston adding, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where the market would end up this season, but it would not be shocking to see Justin Falk return a conditional first-round pick and a prospect based on comparable trades from the past. If that's what you can get for Justin Falk, he should be out the door at the deadline if you're out of it.
Yeah, and so I really like what Johnston said in terms of, like, we don't really have a great comp. Because I was trying to think, like, okay, well, what defenseman falls into the same category as Justin Falk? He's fine defensively, an offensive-minded defenseman. He's got another year left on his contract. Jacob Chikrin was the only one that came to mind for me.
He's young.
He was young at the time when they traded him, and that's the biggest difference. But an offensive defenseman that the defenseman style isn't the greatest. He was also a pending free agent.
I've got one for you.
Okay.
Now, it's not perfect one-for-one, and I think it speaks to the level of transaction that the Blues could get here, the level of return. Nick Leddy. He was 30 years old, pending free agent when the Blues traded for him, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
An offensive-driven defenseman, guy that skates well, moves offense up the ice, can be on the power play if need be. I would say that Nick Leddy is the kind of return. He got a second-round pick. I think the Blues would get a little bit more than that because I think that Justin Falk's a little better than Nick Leddy was at the time that the Blues traded for him. Maybe the contract status makes things a little different. I think the Blues had to take on like $4 million or $2 million that year. In this scenario, Falk would probably be closer to $3 million for whoever takes him on for the next couple of seasons. But, yeah, I think a first-round pick makes some sense.
Yeah, I think there's more intrigue in Justin Falk than Nick Leddy, but I think you're spot on, somewhere in that range. But I think I think getting a first-round draft pick and a top prospect, or at least a upper-tier prospect, is what the return would be for a Justin Falk. And it gets better if the Blues are willing to eat some money.
I would probably just take the first. If you want me to be honest, I think that would be enough.
I would rather the prospect than the first.
That's right.
If I can get a top 6 winger prospect, I would take who's close. So, like I told you guys that, like Winnipeg's got a couple of guys, if the Blues opted to trade Braden Shen, that are close to the NHL. If you're telling me I could get a top 6 winger, preferably a guy that is like ready to make the jump, I would take that over the first and be fine with it.
Yeah, the reason that I would potentially take the first is just because I can offer that to any team across the NHL. The prospect might be very specific to what those teams are looking for, and I'm more likely to flip those prospects than I am to keep them. And same thing would be true for that first-round pick potentially. If I could end up with like 4 or 5 first-round picks next year based upon these players, I'm not just keeping all of those picks. I'm using them to put players on my team in the future. So that's why I would probably prioritize the first, but it has much less to do with me actually wanting the first-round pick and more of what I can do with it later. Does that have more value to other teams, or does the prospect? If you believe that the prospect does, or if you get a great prospect in return that you think fits into your core, I'm definitely not opposed to it. I just think the first-round pick probably has more value to other teams across the league later on. All right, next player up is Jordan Kyrou. They say the Canucks, the Senators, the Devils would be teams that could potentially be interested in him. What could the Blues get? Chris Johnson, in this piece by Jeremy Rutherford, said they could get an established player of similar stature, though this could end up also as a future-focused deal. Kyrou seems more likely to be involved in a traditional hockey trade. Alex, would that be your personal belief as well?
Yeah. I think it's an off-season one. If they decide that he just doesn't fit into what they want, they're frustrated with him, whatever it may be. I think what the rumor was this offseason is what you're talking about. Paterka, who was traded from Buffalo to Utah for Josh Doan and Kesselring. That's what I would say. You find another player who's in the same area, maybe a couple of years younger for a team that wants to get scoring now. That's the deal that you pull off for that.
All right, next one up is Jake Neighbors, guy that I don't think is going to be traded.
This one I glossed over. He's not getting traded.
Pittsburgh Penguins, Vancouver Canucks said some combination of a pick with a prospect and or a young player, but there would be no guarantees that any of them become as effective as Neighbors is. Just go ahead and cross it off. It's not happening.
Yeah, I crossed this one off too.
Colton Parayko, next one up. They say Vegas, of course, Edmonton, of course, as potentially teams of interest. First-round pick, a mid-round pick, a prospect, and a player to help the acquiring team balance things cap-wise could be the type of return that you'd get. If you trade Colton Parayko, you're looking for Colton Parayko. I'm not trading.
No. You need Colton Parayko for the future of this team with more young defensemen. And if I'm trading Justin Falk next year, my right side is Mayu, Adam Jiricek, Matt Kessel. I need Colton Parayko.
That's a true rebuild for a tanking team if that's the direction they decide to go. Braden Shin, next one up. They say Dallas, New Jersey, Ottawa could be teams of interest. A lottery-protected first-round pick and prospect seems reasonable depending on how many other centers become available league-wide. Again, similar to the Justin Falk return, if that's out there for you for Braden Shin, I think it's something that you have to take at this year's deadline. Again, assuming that you're not in playoff contention. Yes. If you're still in playoff contention, then sure, keep all of these guys. I've got no issues with that. But assuming you're out of it, yeah, that's the kind of return I'd have to move on.
What Toronto traded to get Brandon Carlo this past trade deadline is what I would imagine the Blues are trying to get. And I mean, Toronto was in the rumors for it last year. Maybe that wasn't enough. Now they might look at it differently. But Fraser Minton and a first-round pick. You're looking for that. And honestly, as much as I love Braden Shen, and again, barring them wanting to be or not in this race still, I think you have to do that if you're the Blues.
Yeah, I would say the Scott Laughton deal plus. The Toronto Maple Leafs acquired Scott Laughton, a fourth and a sixth in return for a first-round pick and a prospect. So if you could get something similar to that, I probably would have to go ahead and accept that if I'm on the Blues side of things. And the last one here, they added Robert Thomas into the mix. Which teams might be interested? The answer, too many to list. What could the Blues get? At least a three-part return. A young center, another roster player, or a prospect, and a first-round pick. This, to me, is an off-season move.
I 100% agree.
I don't think you make this kind of a move at the trade deadline because I would want as many teams to be in on Robert Thomas as possible, and the way that you do that is by teams having the cap space to make it work for themselves. So I don't think this is a realistic conversation in season. Do you disagree with that, Alex?
No, I don't disagree with that. In season, you're not making this move. This is going to be if this happens, this is going to be a Doug Armstrong saying, Steiner, here you go. I don't think Doug's making that move. I think this is a Steen decision of, do you want him a part of your core? And the only reason that I'm not treating this the same way we treated Jake Neighbors and Colton Parayko is from what Doug Armstrong said earlier. And maybe it was just a slip of the mind, but when he was talking about the core and what they're building around, he did not mention Thomas's name. I can't rule this out if you're a top 5 pick this year, because that's 4 straight years of you struggling, with the exception of one 12-game win streak. It's 4 straight years of the same issues arising with him being a part of that core. And if Steen is taking over and it's a mess, you have to look at it and say, is this what's best for our organization's health? And you get a haul for that. Now, it sets your timeline back, but you get a haul for that. It's kind of like what Brendan Donovan is right now. Like, you take a year off, but with the core you have in place that you are building around, as Doug Armstrong put it, I think it's at least in consideration.
In about 10 minutes, what are we expecting to see in the first weekend of the college football playoff? T-Bone thinks that we could see one ass-kicking with Oregon at a minimum based upon his picks.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of news to pass along. The Cardinals say that Matt Koperniak has cleared waivers after he was outrighted.
Yeah.
He will stay in the organization. He was previously on the 40-man. He was moved off of the 40-man and put through waivers in order to clear that spot for the signing of Dustin May. So Matt Koperniak, left-handed outfielder, had a really rough season last year in AAA, but the year before was quite productive. He has officially made it through waivers. He will report to Memphis, or at least that's the expectation heading into next season. Coming up next, Junk Drawer here on 101 ESPN.
Sunday morning, it's an NFL triple header. Game 1, Panthers and Bucks. Game 2, Jaguars and Broncos. Game 3, Ravens and Patriots. Coverage starts Sunday morning at 11. Your destination for the NFL in St. Louis is 101 ESPN.
Hey, college football fans, it's time to lock in on those playoff showdowns with BetMGM. Whether you're riding on an upset or hoping the favorite dominates, take your excitement to the next level with an odds boost token. Log into your BetMGM account to receive your token. Then place a bet on any college football matchup with your activated token. If your boosted bet hits, you'll score a bigger payout. No matter where the action is, betting with a boost will make the biggest games of the season even more memorable. Don't miss out on BetMGM's lineup of promotions for the biggest college football showdowns of the year. Log in to claim your odds boost token. The game is about to kick off, so own the moment with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
.101 ESPN has your shot to score a signed puck autographed by Blues forward Jake Neighbors.
Neighbors to the goal. Shoots. Score!
Enter to win now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 app. Powered by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Live from the Centene Community Ice Center inside the ENB Granite Studios, you're tuned into BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmers Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN. Let's open it up. The Junk Drawer with BK and Ferrario.
Why the Patriots are an underdog.
Why?
Mike Vrabel says Harold Landry, Christian Barmore, Carlton Davis, and Marcus Jones are all listed as questionable ahead of this game against the Ravens. Robert Spillane has been ruled out. Those are all defensive players.
Well, I'm glad I pivoted away from that one.
So
they'll be fine. Questionable doesn't mean they're not playing.
You guys want to hear about some of the top shows in showbiz this year?
Oh,
Showbiz.
RogerEbert.com ranks the top 25 shows.
Oh, you want to play a game?
2025.
How many Alex saw?
Sure.
I'd guess none of them.
Clean Slate on Prime Video. I've never even heard of this one, honestly.
I've never heard of that one either.
Running Point on Netflix.
Nope.
This one is inspired by the Lakers, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I've never seen it, but I've heard some things.
I've never heard of it.
0 for 2.
Righteous Gemstones. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
I've heard good things. It's a comedy on HBO Max.
0 for 3.
Okay. I Love LA. I've heard people like this.
Well,
Never
from the
seen it
picture, it seems a little raunchy, but 0 for 4.
Not seen it. No.
Yeah, you don't want to see the pictures.
The Beast in Me. Really good show.
Great show.
Netflix.
Yeah, I recommend. You would probably really like it.
What's
I
this
think
one
so,
about?
too. It's kind of a whodunit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Murder
I like
mystery.
those. Okay.
It's based upon a book.
You know what? I'm going to write these lists down because Katie and I are always
And it
looking for something.
stars Matthew Rhys. I don't know if you're familiar with his. He's really
Yeah.
good, and he's
Very
really good in
Okay,
the show.
I'll put that down as a consideration.
Highly recommend for anybody that hasn't seen it. Go check out The Beast in Me on Netflix. Deli Boys on Hulu. I've never heard of
Never
this
even
one.
heard of it. I'm
Don't even,
questioning
if
this
you
list.
haven't heard it, don't even look my direction.
Long story short, on Netflix.
That's a cartoon, so
by
I'm
the
not watching.
BoJack Horseman creator. BoJack Horseman has a lot of really big time fans.
Yeah,
For good
I've
things.
never seen that one, but
No.
yeah.
Dexter Resurrection on Paramount Plus.
I want
I
to
heard
watch
this
this
was
because I loved
disappointing.
Dexter.
Surprisingly pretty good.
Is it?
I thought
Really?
they did a good job with
Yeah.
it.
because I thought they canceled it and then they renewed it again for a season 2.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I hated the way that Dexter ended, so I was really nervous when they decided to create this, where I was like, are we just going to get more of the same, where he's going to be like in the wilderness as some kind of a lumberjack?
Spoiler.
Sorry, it's like 10 years old.
Yeah, but the
It's
Windows
on my
12.
list.
And I thought it was much better, so highly recommend
Yeah, this was on a queue list.
Dexter, The Resurrection as well. Death by Lightning on Netflix. Never heard
I
this one
watched
either.
that. It's interesting. So it's did you watch? I think it was last year. Apple made it was a TV series about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, and it followed John Wilkes Booth. It's kind of the same thing. It follows the assassination of Garfield.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
It was okay. I didn't think it was as good as the Lincoln one, but it's interesting because I knew nothing about the story of Garfield. Like, he won the election by not even originally being a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting. It's got a decent cast in it as
That
well.
Lincoln one was hard to. I love Abraham Lincoln stuff, and I find it fascinating. That one was hard because it was such a slow-moving series.
This one is
I couldn't
only.
keep it.
What's nice about this one? 4 episodes.
Oh,
Mahomes Longbody, Where is Love is Blind, BK's favorite. So, for some
It's not a
reason, did not
TV
make the
show.
list.
It's trash, is what it is.
Severance is at number 16 on this list.
I tried this and I never got into
The
it.
show is good. I did not love this season.
The concept, I think, is what's best about the show.
I tried
I'm not
Severance.
sure how great the actual show is. The concept's cool.
I tried Severance and I tried Black Mirror, and I couldn't get into any of them.
Here's one that you have actually seen. Paradise as at number 15
We
on the
made
list.
it.
I saw that's coming back in, I think, January.
I'm very concerned that's not going to be good.
That one, to me, kind of reminds me of what you said about Severance. The concept's great.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see where they go with it. I thought the ending, I won't give this one away because it's a relatively new show, but the ending of season 1 I thought was really interesting, and it could promote a pretty compelling season 2.
I agree.
I'm just curious to see where they go with it. The Bear was at number 14. I have not watched this year's season yet. It's kind of lost me.
I watched
Good show, though.
2 episodes of the first season, and it wasn't for me.
I've not watched it. It's on my list because I hear it's really good.
DJ Patty Cake says TV is trash nowadays. Totally disagree. I thought this was
I
an
think
unbelievable
movies are
TV
trash
season.
nowadays.
Or
I think
TV
all
year.
of it's trash.
Hacks
You're
on
old.
HBO Max. I've never seen this one.
Never heard it.
Hacks. Why does that sound familiar?
I don't know. I know
boy, I gotta
nothing
look it
about it. Number 12, Forever on Netflix. Again, not seen it. North of North.
Nope.
Not seen it.
Nope.
Netflix. Pee-wee as himself.
This one I really want to watch. It's the documentary, not documentary, but it's the reenactment of Pee Wee Herman's life.
Alien Earth
Nope.
on FX. Task on HBO Max. If you haven't seen that one,
That's
another
What's
really
this
good
one? Is it interesting?
It's very good. You know how I am, though.
Falls an FBI task force.
Anything Mark Ruffalo
like that.
does, I will probably watch it.
Yeah.
Will probably
All right.
enjoy. I thought he was fantastic.
It made the
in this.
list.
It is
Somehow
very good.
that
It's
got
on
renewed
HBO
for a
Max.
second season. Did you see that?
It got what?
It got renewed for a second season.
Yeah, they'll probably
It was a
do it.
limited time series that was, oh, wow, that's really good. Okay, yeah, here's season 2.
My guess is they'll do something pretty similar to what they do with the detective. What is it called?
True Detective.
Yeah, True
I
Detective.
think Ruffalo's back for it.
But I think it'll be like a different thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Different task force.
I see what you're
kind
saying.
of thing. Number 7, Dying for Sex. Again, never seen this one either or
Put
heard
that
of
one
it.
on the list.
Number 6, The Lowdown. Never heard of that. Number 5,
Oh, Lowdown's
Adolescence.
interesting. It's on Hulu. It follows a guy that's like a reporter, and he's in a small town, and people think he's a conspiracy theorist until one of his conspiracy theories comes true.
Number 5 is Adolescence. I thought it was the best thing I watched this year.
Never saw it.
It was unbelievable. It legitimately made me emotional watching it. Number 4 is we could do an entire show on adolescence.
Cool, we got the time.
You've seen that, right?
No.
You haven't?
Oh, is that no, that's not the one we were talking. No.
I feel like you did.
Adolescence isn't the one.
It's the kid that is.
Oh, yes, I
accused
did
of
watch this.
murder.
I loved this, but I couldn't understand it.
I love it.
Like they're no. Like I couldn't. Yeah, the accents. I had to watch it in subtitles, and people know I hate subtitles. Like I couldn't understand with their thick accents.
Yeah, I'm out.
But the
It's
premise of
excellent.
it,
It's truly a
the
fantastic
way it was
show.
shot, was what I found so intriguing.
I genuinely think it's the best thing that was made this year. All right, The Studio, number 4, didn't do anything for me. Well done show nonetheless. The Pit was one of the other best shows that I watched this year. It's at number 3. If you haven't seen it, season 2 is coming out very soon. It's worth your time. It is classic TV. Pluribus at number 2. New episode came out last night. T-Bone, are you still in on it?
I've
You're
watched
out?
one episode. I haven't gone back.
Oh, man, I think it's very
I
good.
saw they want to make 10 seasons of it. I was like, oh, my gosh.
Andor is number 1, and it
As
was
it
a
should be.
fantastic show.
I'm surprised that it's all her fault it's not on there.
That was also really good.
I thought that should be a top 5, top 10 because that was phenomenal.
Yeah, I thought it was a great year of television.
Well, I just got 4 from that list on my list, so
There you go.
probably won't make it
Did you
through
watch
any
Andor?
of them. No, I'm not a Star Wars guy.
It doesn't matter. You should watch it.
It's more of a political drama
It's
in the
great.
Star Wars universe. It's really good.
It's great. It's one of the best shows that I've seen in a really
Will
long
I
time.
understand
Kind of like
it?
The Penguin,
Yeah.
where The Penguin is
Yeah.
like,
You don't need to
it's
know
really
anything
a
about
mob
Star
show,
Wars.
even though it's set through the Batman series.
All right, I'll consider it. It's going to go way down on the list, but I'll consider it.
Somebody said, how many of these shows are in regular cable? That's
Absolutely
what I've got.
none of them.
Yeah, basically none of them.
No shows are on regular cable anymore.
I think St. Dennis Medical is actually pretty good. That's one that I think
I've
you and
heard
your
good
wife
things
would like.
about that.
It's kind of a similar. It's a hospital version of The Office,
Office.
basically.
I do find it funny that there's like a million of those now because there's that. I think there's
The
one, Abbott.
mockumentary
Is it
kind of-
Abbott Elementary?
Yeah.
is
I like
one?
how nobody has ever recommended the new Office spinoff to me because they know my response will probably be violence.
Coming up next, what are we expecting in the first weekend of the college football playoff? We'll tell you here on BK and Ferrario.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis. 101 ESPN is driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the lifetime warranty and 30-day return. ESPN is your home for Blues hockey. Every month during the season, you can score a pair of tickets to a Blues game at Enterprise Center. A new winner is picked every month throughout the season. Enter to win now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app, presented by Ted Drew's Frozen Custard. BK and Ferrario are broadcasting live from the E&B Granite Studios at the Centene Community Ice Center, presented by Bud Light and Skimmer's Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN.
I'm BK. We're broadcasting live at the E&B Granite Studios out of the Centene Community Ice Center. Let's dive into our NFL and college football weekend look ahead for the upcoming weekend. And Alex, if you look at the college football slate to start things out, I like Alabama tonight against Oklahoma. I don't have enough confidence. It was one of the other picks that I was potentially looking at going into this weekend, but I just don't have enough confidence that Bama will be able to do well against Oklahoma's defense. The last game that I saw between these two teams is giving me a little bit of anxiety, if we're being real. But let's start out with the college football. We'll get to NFL here in just a little bit. As you look at tonight, Alabama on the road at Oklahoma, how you feeling about this one? OU is a slight favorite.
I would go Oklahoma 10 times out of 10. I mean, Alabama they really haven't done much to make me feel like they are the clear-cut favorite, and I would just go the slight edge. I think they're eerily similar. I would go the slight edge to
I've just lost faith in that Alabama offense, and I think that offense is going to have to do something against that incredible defense of Oklahoma. And if they don't, I don't know that you're going to see them be able to do enough. Now, I say all that to say that Oklahoma has not played very well either here of late, but I still trust Oklahoma more than I do Alabama. So I would lean towards Oklahoma tonight in this contest, but I think it's going to be about a 3-point game. Like, I think it is going to be tight. I think it's going to be about a 3-point game.
Offense to do it. So that's why I like the Alabama side of things here. This is the game that I might be most excited about, though, going into this opening round. And it is in part because of what I said earlier today with my picks. I think Texas A&M is going to win potentially by as much as like 10 points in this game against the University of Miami. So tomorrow morning, that is the other one that we expect to be close. I think Texas A&M wins that one. Do you guys have the same feeling on that one, that you like Texas A&M over Miami, or are you on the other side?
I have A&M winning it. I don't feel as confident as I do in Oklahoma beating Alabama. And, I mean, everybody knows that I am the prototypical Carson Beck hater. I don't think he's that good, but I also don't trust Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M has had some flaws over these last couple of weeks at the end of the season. So I think Miami keeps this one close. I actually would take Miami +3, but I think Texas A&M might win.
I don't trust Miami at all. I don't think they keep this game close. I like A&M in this contest. I think A&M is going to be the team that ends up coming out on top. Miami, Carson Beck is a big reason why I don't trust him, and that's why I think A&M. I got scared away by what A&M did to where I just had no confidence in taking them in the pick 'em in their last contest. But I believe they are going to win this game. This is the game I'm most excited about because I think these two teams can put up some points. I think you're going to see Beck, if he plays well, potentially move the ball around. There's more storylines with Miami of how they somehow got in over Notre Dame after the committee finally did their job. Compared to that Alabama and Oklahoma game, I get it. There are storylines, and I get Bama was a storyline going into the playoff. It's just going to be ugly football. Like, it's going to be a defensive slugfest that I don't think is going to be entertaining to watch at all.
One of the other storylines, to go back to that Bama versus Oklahoma game, are we 100% positive that DeBoer is going to be at Alabama again next year?
No. I originally was, but then after some of the comments yesterday, I'm like, oh, maybe not.
I mean, he might be the next head coach at Michigan. And if he is, dude, that's because he lost to Oklahoma. I don't think that they can let him go if he beats Oklahoma in this game. Getting to the second round of the playoff, that's got to mean something even at a place like Alabama. But if you lose to Oklahoma and you finish the year 10-4, that's the kind of thing that gets you to where they're willing to let you walk through that door.
Yeah, I don't even know if it matters if he wins or loses. I think at some point he's going to take that job at Michigan.
Just because he didn't want to deal with the pressure anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like, think of what the first week of the season was. People wanted Kalen DeBoer gone when they lost that first week, that game in the first week. Like, if I'm Kalen DeBoer, yeah, I'd probably go over to Michigan and just say, bleep it with Alabama.
All right, so those are the first two games. Those are the most intriguing games. We don't have to spend as much time on the next two. I agree with
Oregon
T-Bone.
we need to cover, though.
I love T-Bone's
James Madison plus 20
rant that he had earlier today. Tulane and James Madison should be in the playoff. They earned that right. The ACC did not earn the right to have one of their teams in as an automatic qualifier by winning their conference. That's on the ACC. That is not Tulane's fault. That is not James Madison's fault. Those two teams earned their way into the playoff. If Texas wanted in, if Vandy wanted in, they could have taken care of business. They did not. And so the result is we get these games. You get into the NFL playoffs, man, we're going to see some games in the first round that are pretty ugly, that a lot of us don't want to see. You remember last year where we were all rooting for the Bengals to get into the playoffs because we wanted to see that offense, and we got stuck with a couple of the other teams?
Well, like Pittsburgh instead?
Yeah. Welcome to the college football first round of the playoff. We used to get it where there was 4 teams, and most of the first round games sucked. 1 versus 4 was terrible. I remember New Year's Eve one year where Alabama played against Michigan State, and I was mad because we ended up going to Helen Fitzgerald's, me and my wife, and girlfriend at the time. And I was like, I want to watch this game. And then I got to Helen Fitzgerald's, and it was already like 35-0. I was like, never mind, we're good here. So I didn't miss anything.
This is why you don't get into fights with your significant, Brandon, 100%. Over sports.
So anyways, Tulane is taking on Ole Miss. The spread's 17.5. I think Ole Miss wins and probably covers.
Do you have any interest in watching the game? Because I do.
Because it's college football playoff.
Well, no, outside of it just being it's a playoff game, I'm curious to know what Ole Miss looks like.
I think there's a chance Tulane covers. And I don't know if they win.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's 100% certain that Ole Miss wins. That team has got to be in shambles after the Lane Kiffin stuff.
I hate to say this because I agree that Ole Miss belongs in the playoff. I thought they would drop a little bit lower in the rankings after they lost their, head coach. But if they look awful in this contest, I think it almost sets a baseline as how we have to view a team, because this will happen again for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that this is not going to be the first time we see a head coach abandon his program in a playoff spot, because if there are great jobs that open up, of course a Power 4 sitting coach will take that gig potentially.
See, I don't feel that way. I think Lane Kiffin is one of one. I don't think most – and another part of this, like Tulane's coach is leaving. James Madison's coach is leaving. They're just leaving for better jobs that aren't pure programs, that are a rival with the school that they currently coach at. That's the only – this is like if, I don't know, Kurt Signetti took the Michigan job. Like in that event, maybe.
That'd be fun.
Maybe, yeah, possibly.
I like chaos.
This is a very specific circumstance. I don't think we'll see much of this in the future. I do like Ole Miss to win, but I think people might be underselling how good of a coach and how good of a play caller Lane Kiffin is.
I would take Tulane plus 17.5.
As this thing goes along, I do not expect Ole Miss to go on any kind of a run, and I think that could have at least been possible with Lane Kiffin as their head coach. James Madison is at Oregon. I think Oregon wins. I think they probably cover. I just don't have the same confidence as T-Bone because of the potential for a backdoor cover where they're down 37-17 and they kick a field goal or they score a touchdown as it's getting late. Oregon has their backup.
I want a 17-point win, and I want James Madison to do to you what Pete Carroll did to me.
Yeah, I am not expecting it. There was a bowl game earlier today, the Myrtle Beach Bowl, where Western Michigan bulldozed Kennesaw State 27-0 in the first quarter. I think it's going to look something like that.
Where do they play the Myrtle Beach Bowl?
I'm assuming Myrtle Beach.
Probably Myrtle Beach.
That makes sense.
Are you being serious?
Should be
right
California.
No, I'm not being serious right now.
At SoFi.
Brandon.
I don't believe you.
There's sarcasm in my voice.
I don't believe you.
You should believe me.
I think that you didn't think about it at first.
No.
And then you said it out loud.
How do you not think about it when you say Myrtle Beach? I said it to get a rise out of you. And boy, did it rise. That rose like yeast. Does yeast rise? No, dough rises.
Yeah,
yeast,
dough
I guess, is going in. Okay.
All right, let's dive into the NFL side of things. We've got our pick'em challenge that I need your guys' help with.
Of course you do. We always come through. But yet, I don't know if I should provide it because you don't listen when I told you to take the Steelers versus the Dolphins.
I know. It was 10 degrees outside, and I took the fight Miami Dolphins.
Listen.
I had the Rams last night. I think everybody had the Rams last night, though. I think actually Stalter, said he potentially had the Seahawks. I can't remember, but I think he might have had the Seahawks in that one. Obviously, I missed that. Commanders are at home against the Eagles. We all got
Eagles.
The Eagles.
Eagles. I don't know if they cover the spread, but Eagles win.
Bears at home against the Packers.
I think I'd go Bears in this one. I mean, that's a deflating loss to lose Micah Parsons, and the Packers got the first one. I don't think you see a same team win twice in this matchup.
That's how I've got it as well, but I don't have a whole lot of confidence in it.
Yeah,
the Bears are without both Adunze and Luther Burden, though, so like throwing the ball is going to be tough.
Really nervous. I think it's going to be a huge game for their running game.
Josh Jacobs, by the way, quietly still has not practiced yet this week. Dealing with
I think he'll be fine. He last week was questionable up until game time and then had like one of his best games of the season.
I don't know how that defense plays as tight as they have, and that's why I would go the Bears.
And their run defense quietly for the Green Bay Packers has been pretty bad lately.
Oh, yeah.
And that was before they had some of these injuries that they're now dealing with. If the Bears had their full allotment of receivers, I'd be picking them with quite a bit of confidence. The fact that they don't makes me a little nervous, but running game plus their tight ends, decent game out of potentially DJ Moore in this one. I think I'll still lean the Bears there, and you guys know how much I love the Packers. All right, Bucks are on the road at the Carolina Panthers. Can I trust the Bucks here?
I would go Panthers. This was another pick that I really had. I had the Panthers +3. I didn't put it on my pick 'em because I just don't know in a division one, but I would go Panthers.
I'm with you. The Panthers been playing better football of late.
They're without their left tackle and right tackle, though.
Yeah, I still think they're playing better ball than what we've seen from Tampa Bay. I'm with you. I nearly took this in the pick 'em, and I was going to take Panthers as my 1-point play, but decided I like the Bengals just a little bit better on the spread.
Yeah.
All right. Well, right now I'm leaning Bucks. We'll see if I change that one.
Hey, last time I went the Bucks in a division matchup that felt Bucks, I got kicked out of $22,000.
Like Bills at the Browns.
You're right.
Which you guys
Browns, baby, all the way.
Yeah, Bills.
It's Bills.
Chargers at the Cowboys. I don't know.
I would lean Chargers here. I think Chargers are more desperate than the Cowboys
I kind of think so too. I love, by the way, playing McConkey and Daly. He only had 2 receptions. I think it was last week. So I expect he's going to get heavily involved against that crappy defense that the Cowboys.
I like Keenan Allen. I think touchdown, boomer bust on that one.
Okay.
You were going Cowboys there, weren't you?
I sure was.
Big dog.
Write that one down as well.
He's
Jets
taking notes.
At the Saints. We all like the Saints?
Yeah.
Brady Cook starting. God bless him, man. I hope you do well. Vikings at the Giants. We all like the Vikings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're on the same page there. Chiefs at the Titans. Dude.
You told me not to bet on this, so I refuse to pick.
Can I make a plea to everyone?
Speak right to that camera. Zoom in on it.
Don't bet on anything as it pertains to the Chiefs versus the Titans game. Just don't do it.
America, don't be a coward. Take the under 37.5.
Take Titans +3.
Do you guys like the Titans or the Chiefs in this one? I'm going to take the Chiefs. I
like Chiefs, but I don't watch this game.
Who's big boy Gardner Minshew throwing to? Kelsey?
TC, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that boy can't catch a ball these days. You're really relying on
Cam Ward's just so not Cam Ward, because Ward's showing something.
You're relying on the defense.
I think the Titans might win.
I do too. +3, I would love the Titans at +3. But Brandon told me not to bet.
Yeah, I think the Titans might win this game. Next one up, Bengals at the Dolphins. Bengals, right? We all agree?
Yeah.
Bengals -4.5, baby.
Yeah. Falcons on the road at the Cardinals. We all like the Falcons in this one.
I mean, this one's crap on crap, so just pick your poison, but I would say the Falcons.
I kind of like Cardinals in this one at home.
I like Jacoby Brissett a lot in fantasy.
Yeah, and I think McBride could have a big game too. So, like, I kind of like Cardinals over Falcons.
Okay. I will go ahead and circle that one. And then Jaguars on the road at the Broncos. I think the Broncos, I'm going to take them in this because there's no real downside to. I think everybody's probably going to end up taking the Broncos. I personally, though, believe that the Jaguars will win.
Yeah, I like Denver. I think Denver wins this football game outright. I don't know if they cover, but I think they win outright.
I like Jags. I feel a Bo Picks night. Yep.
Okay. I'll go ahead and write that one down. Dude, this is a rough week.
Every game on your list over there?
Yeah.
Normally I have 6 of them by now.
4. It's like half the slate. Steelers at the Lions. We all like the Lions.
Yeah.
Raiders at Texans. Come on.
Texans.
Patriots at the Ravens. Are we all on the same page with the Patriots?
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to end in disaster for us.
No, they're questionable, man.
On the road at the Colts. Do we all like the 49ers?
Yeah.
All right. So we've got 5 games that we have potentially circled as 50-50 propositions. Packers at the Bears, Bucks at the Panthers, Chargers at the Cowboys, Falcons at the Cardinals, and then Jaguars at the Broncos. Oh, boy. This is going to be a tough week on the
Bears
pick'em side of things.
The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like trying to feel like I'm leaning Bucks. Like in a desperate situation, who do you trust more, Baker Mayfield or Bryce Young?
Baker.
And that's why I'm kind of wondering Bucks. God, I can't read your writing. Chargers.
What, you just flipping every game over there?
No, I've only flipped one. I would still go Bears, Chargers, Jags, Cards and Falcons, it's literally a 50-50 play, and then I think I'd go Panthers over Bucks. I'd flip my Panthers pick.
Okay.
I still like the Panthers plus 3. I would go Bucks. I still like Panthers plus 3, but I think if I'm going to go the more desperate quarterback to be a playoff team, I think I'm going to go the Bucks.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Bucks on that one. I'm going to stick with the Bears. I do like the Cowboys, man. That's one that I'm struggling with, but I'll go Chargers. I'll stick with you guys. And then I think I'm going to stick Falcons against the Cardinals. And I'm going to go Jaguars. I'm going to trust my gut on that one. So those are going to be my picks in the Fastlane Pick'em Challenge. I reserve the
Someone's
right.
getting shot this week.
Jaguars plus 3.5.
But that's where I'm at right now.
How you feel?
Clearly not good about it.
I mean, right now, though, I'm third in the Fastlane Riz Show Pick'em Challenge standings overall for the season. So that's pretty good.
What's the punishment for the worst person?
I don't think there is one. I think it's just each week.
You guys don't even have a punishment for the worst out of the league? Oh, man.
Yeah, last night it was Marshy and Stalter that went with the Seahawks.
Good for them.
Both of them got that one correct.
By the way, BK and Ferrario, stronger with the punishments. I like it. Once again.
Okay, enough of that. We're not trying to do any sort of a competition between.
Just saying. Do you think anybody at the Fastlane would have a mayo and onion sandwich?
Probably not. Probably.
Or mayo in their coffee, or a beer mile,
or
dance like a snowman on St. Charles Main Street,
and sing Christmas carols. Get shocked.
Plunge.
Get shocked.
Polar plunge. Yeah, shocked.
I still have that, by the way.
Like
so
I had a.
Well, you had 1 year where it was everything.
Number of these that I had to serve.
I think the ones I had duct tape. You think one of them would be duct taped to a chair for 4 hours?
Oh,
where your skin was a part of the duct tape?
I forgot about that.
I still have hair that won't grow back on that one. You do too. I waxed your chest.
Handcuffs in a princess outfit
from the 5 7
That was
3. So
lingerie.
you're third out of 4. No, third out of both shows combined. So third out of 10, I believe, total.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, I could be doing.
Someone got shot twice, I think, in a row to start the season.
By
2
the way,
out of 3, maybe.
Because he didn't do this.
Yeah.
I checked out the Wayno League because we're in the playoffs. This week is round 2. We had the bye going into round 2. Wayno last night. We're not going up against him. He's out of the playoffs, I believe. He had Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka Nacua. We would have gotten crushed if we had gone up against him. Nobody else in our league played anybody from last night that did anything of note.
Wow.
So the guy we're going up against in the playoff right now in the semifinal did not have anybody going last night. I really wanted to play Puka, but I just couldn't get myself there because I was worried about the Seahawks defense.
Stafford would have probably been a good play too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I benched him.
Would have been costing.
I'm in the semifinals against Bradford in our league, and I benched Stafford for Love, which was a mistake.
Yeah. So we are in need of a big weekend this weekend.
Who's our guy?
And I will post our lineup.
Who will we
Twitter,
rally
so
around?
Check it out at BK Sports Talk.
That's my pick.
And we'll send out our lineup for the
Can't go
upcoming
bad with
weekend in Wayno's league. Root for us. We're trying to get that first pitch heading into next season.
Ferrari, that was good.
Coming
That
up
was
next,
not good.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. You give us 4 options. We'll tell you which one's got to go here on BK and Ferrario.
The Redbird Report. Your front row seat to all things Cardinals. From the dugout to the diamond, BK and T-Bone go deep with the latest news, notes, and analysis. Watch the Redbird Report on YouTube or listen online at 101ESPN.com.
Tanner Hendrickson here in Missouri. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live here in the state of Missouri. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. College football playoff kicks off tonight with Alabama taking on Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma minus the 1.5. I'm also thinking the under of 40.5. And on DraftKings Sportsbook, they've got a 30% profit boost for the Alabama versus Oklahoma game. So download that DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Tanner. That's code Tanner as new Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code Tanner. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
ESPN Sports Center.
CFP premiere set for 7 p.m. Good afternoon. I'm Bradford Bruns. Your Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Tonight on 101 ESPN, SEC foes will lock horns once again in round one of the college football playoff. 9th-seeded Alabama visiting number 8 Oklahoma. These two schools last met November 15th with OU prevailing 23-21. Tomorrow's slate, meanwhile, including Hurricanes Aggies, Tulane Ole Miss, plus James Madison, Oregon. Weekend pucks, St. Louis heading to Florida after Thursday's 2-1 loss against New York. MLB-wise, Kansas City acquires all-star setup man Matt Strom from Philadelphia. Pittsburgh reportedly snagging Brandon Lau. Fellow hurlers Tarek Skubal, Logan Webb, as well as Mason Miller joining Team USA's World Baseball Classic roster. The Sports Center update was driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Broadcasting live from the Centene Community Ice Center inside the ENB Granite Studios. This is BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmer's Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN. This is BK and Ferrario. Time now for One's Gotta Go. We offer up the talking points, and you get to pick which one's gotta go on 101 ESPN.
Count that big pen.
You give us 4 options. We'll tell you which one's got to go here on BK and Ferrario. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. You give us 4 different options. We'll tell you which one's got to go. All right, from the 573, which one's got to go? Christmas movie edition. Alex, I have a feeling you have some strong thoughts on this.
What is that supposed to mean?
I just think you probably have some strong thoughts on this. Christmas Vacation,
Great
Elf,
one.
Polar Express, or A Christmas Story. Which one's got to go?
Christmas Story. I think that's a trash film.
I have a feeling.
I don't even think it's. I don't think it's entertaining.
Great,
I just it's not. it's not I don't know. It's not watchable for me. And the fact that they do like a 24-hour marathon on Christmas is just dumb.
It would definitely be my last choice of the 4. I'm not as strong as you are on it being a trash movie, but
I hate people that act as if it's like a Christmas must. And like, no, this is now, if you would have picked a different movie other than The Christmas Story, I would have gotten rid of Polar Express.
Whoa.
I like Polar Express, but I don't know if you guys have watched that. You haven't because you don't have kids, but if you've watched it with your child, dude, it's creepy. I'm watching it and I'm like, this might give my kids nightmares. But Christmas Story's trash.
If you think it's dumb that they play it for 24 hours, man, I hope what I'm about to bring up, she's not listening. That was on a vacation spot for us when I was younger, was to go see the house that was filmed at, The Christmas Story, up in Cleveland.
That'd be a waste of my time.
Yeah, wasn't a fan of it as a kid then. Not a fan.
Sorry.
Until now. We did get to meet one of the actors that was in the movie. The guy that plays the younger brother was there. But yeah, not a fan. I would get rid of that one as well.
From the 636.
I'm assuming the text line loves that answer.
Did you guys really say that you benched Puka last night in your playoffs? Come on, man. Really? He's matchup proof. Number 1 wide receiver in fantasy. Devontae out. Play your studs. No. I should have clarified. Wayno's league is a daily fantasy league that you have your team that you can make every single week based upon a salary cap. So we put together a new team every week. You could have a different quarterback every single week of the season. I chose not to play Puka last night, in part because he was $8,700. You get a $50,000 salary cap. So that's why I didn't choose Puka Nacua, because my option was basically, do we go Puka or do we go with Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, some of the top running backs this weekend? I chose that we were going to go with the top running backs. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. You give us 4 options. We'll tell you which one's got to go. By the way, Southside Hash Slinging Slasher says, this is why I can't listen to the show anymore after hearing that. Christmas Story is the number 1. Throw Polar Express into the sun.
No, it's not. Elf would be number 1. Home Alone's number 1. Hell, Tim Allen's The Santa Claus is better than The Christmas Story. Christmas Vacation is so much better than Christmas Story. Yeah. Come on, man. Educate yourself.
I agree with all of that.
Educate yourself.
From the 314, one's got to go. Christmas Lights Edition. Grant's Farm, the Zoo, Botanical Gardens, or the Brewery Lights. Man, these are good ones. Botanical Garden to me is number 1.
Agreed.
I really enjoyed the Brewery Lights this year. I thought it was great. I'll say the Zoo is the one that's got to go. Grant's Farm is also really cool, and there's so much space to go around there. I'll say the Zoo is the one that's got to go. That's not to suggest that it's bad. It's worth your time, but out of those 4.
I'm just going off of like family tradition. I would get rid of the brewery. And it's mostly because my entire life, dating, now kids, has always been Zoo, Grant's Farm, Driving Through Lights, and Botanical Gardens.
Yeah, I would get rid of Zoo. I haven't been to Grant's Farm in a while, so like it's hard for me to put that one ahead of the Zoo still, but Zoo's fine. Yeah. Those other 3 are better.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service X line for one's got to go. Launch BK and Ferrario into the sun. These takes are treason.
Hey, man.
People have some
to each his own, but Christmas Story is trash. You can watch it once, and it's like, that was fun. I don't need to watch this again.
People have very strong opinions on it.
I'm surprised that's the Christmas movie that sends people over the edge.
One's got to go.
Elf is more watchable.
I think it's because there's an age factor here, too. Yeah. I think if you're a little bit older than us, you probably view that as something that's almost nostalgic. You probably watched it during your childhood. It became something that you watched every year.
Yeah.
So there's
older films, White Christmas is better than A Christmas Story.
Oh, those animation ones are better.
You're
not a Santa Claus.
Rudolph loves White Christmas.
Yeah, I love White Christmas, and I always watch It's a Wonderful Life. Like, those films are better than Christmas Story.
One's got to go. Things not to do on the first date. Asking for help on the bill. Moving? It's like
moving
houses,
or maybe moving in too fastly.
Feeding kids that aren't yours.
What on earth is going on this first date?
Asking for gas money.
Okay, well, all of those should be shot into the sun, as the previous texter would say. Yeah, none of those are good to do on a first date. I would probably say the gas money would be the worst of those bunch, though. Nothing is worse than on a date you pick them up and say, hey, I need money for gas. The rest of the night is awful.
Can I siphon some from your tank?
If you tell me I need money for gas, then I'm assuming I'm not going to have dinner paid for.
Yeah. All right, that's what we got for One's Gotta Go. You guys give us 4 options. We'll tell you which one's got to go. We'll do that again over the next couple of weeks. We're just basically doing best ofs Monday, Tuesday, each of the next couple of weeks. We'll be here for them. Well, T-Bone won't.
Yeah,
But
I'm not
Alex
doing
and
it.
I will be.
Mentally checked out, but physically will be.
Some fun stuff over the next couple of weeks. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Coming up next, we'll hit the rewind here on BK and Ferrario.
101 ESPN is powered by Kaufman Townsley, St. Louis's injury lawyers. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
101 ESPN's Blues Fan of the Week.
Congratulations to Julie Harkins of Vandalia, Illinois. She's our newest 101 ESPN Blues Fan of the Week.
Submit your pick now at 101ESPN.com to be the next Fan of the Week and take home a pair of tickets to an upcoming Blues game.
Our Blues Fan of the Week is presented by CarStar, your auto body repair experts. Locally owned with nationwide warranty. See us at carstar.com.
This is BK and Ferrario on 101 ESPN. Broadcasting live from the E&B Granite Studios at the Centene Community Ice Center. Presented by Bud Light and Skimmer's Original Vodka Iced Tea on 101 ESPN. Let's run it back with the Daily Rewind on BK and Ferrario. Brought to you by Gloria Loom, your home sold guaranteed realty. Selling your home begins at GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Schaefer Door Company.
The 101 ESPN app is free to download, super easy to use, and it is sponsored by Dobbs.
It's free to use also.
Auto Centers. It is also free to use, yeah. We had Mike McKenna join us in studio coming off of a Blues loss, as is customary here on BK and Ferrario. We gave you our pick'ems earlier today, talked about some of the big trades that have been made in Major League Baseball, also gave our thoughts on the Blues young players who at least gave them some sense of a silver lining last night with their performance, and I told T-Bone why he's dead wrong about how Sean McVay
tensions
handled
were high.
the end of the game situation yesterday. He absolutely should have gone for 2, even if T-Bone is a coward and thinks that it was the right way to handle it.
I wonder why the text line doesn't like you. I know.
Buzzwords. I love it.
All right.
Love it.
For our final segment today, let's go ahead and go back through some of the biggest stories.
By the way, them are fighting words, T-Bone. He called you a coward, so I'd throw.
College football playoff begins tonight. Alabama at Oklahoma. OU a 1.5-point favorite. I like the Alabama side. You guys both like Oklahoma?
Mm-hmm. I do. I think it's a pretty even matchup. I don't trust that offense, and it's in Oklahoma.
Miami is on the road at Texas A&M tomorrow. Texas A&M is a 3-point favorite. We're all on A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think Miami covers, though.
And the other 2 games, we both like the favorites with Ole Miss and Oregon, correct? To advance to the next round of the college football playoff. Should be a lot of fun. Again, it begins tonight with the college football playoff. Bama versus Oklahoma. The biggest games in the NFL, they begin tomorrow. Packers at the Bears. Bears a 1.5-point favorite. Just saw this, by the way. It sounds like Josh Jacobs is on the doubtful side of questionable. They're expecting Zach Tom to be out. Evan Williams also out. So some significant injuries on the Packers side of things. So I'll go ahead and take the Bears in that game tomorrow.
Yeah.
By the way, I won that fantasy trade.
Oh, man, that Jacobs injury is killer. He's one of my running backs for the semifinals this week.
That's right.
Hurts to hurt.
I would agree. I would take the Bears. I think the injuries for the Packers starting to pile up.
I like the Jags a lot on Sunday against the Broncos. This is a game with huge meaning in the AFC. If the Jaguars win this game, they will have the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Denver Broncos. The Broncos then have at KC, home against LA, the Chargers. I don't think they're losing that game at Kansas City. No. They could lose that Week 18 game against the LA Chargers. That's not crazy to believe. It's still in play that the Jaguars could end up overtaking the Broncos in the AFC's playoff mix for a 1 or a 2 seed. Patriots, by the way, are a slight underdog this weekend as well. So if they were to lose, they would also be tied with the Jaguars. Jaguars still in play for the number 1 overall seed in the AFC.
What a season.
And, I don't trust them, just like I don't trust, the Broncos.
The 49ers and the Jaguars could be number 1 seeds in both conferences, and I am just going to opt out of the playoffs.
Same friend, though,
I can't justify that.
No, but if you told me, hey, Shanahan gets the 49ers with Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle to be a 1 seed.
Cool, but Fred Warner and Bosa are all hurt.
But at the beginning of the year, I could have seen the path to that. I would have never seen it for Jacksonville. Even though as much as BK tried to sell me on him.
Brandon Ayuk's in witness protection right now.
I was about to say, I remember having these conversations at the beginning of the year where I said, T-Bone, I don't understand why it's crazy to believe that somebody from the AFC South will surprise us. We see this all the time. New coach, quarterback that takes a bit of a step, and they go 12-5 or 11-6. We saw it last year with Washington. Nobody saw that coming. Teams come out of nowhere a lot of the time, and they surprise us. We do this every year in the NFL where we say it'll never happen, and then it does. The New England Patriots, they were a team that I believed in coming into the season, but I talked myself out of it because I was like, they're probably not going to take that big of a step. Look at the defense. I'm not sure they have the personnel. Look at the pass catchers. Not sure they could do it. But I love their quarterback, and they also were able to take that step. So if I would have just listened to my gut, I would have been right on the Jaguars. I would have been right on the New England Patriots. I liked the Broncos coming into the season. I just,
you know that song, Listen to Your Heart. You got to listen to it, man.
Wouldn't have seen the Chiefs collapse coming, though. That
should have believed that one.
Yeah, right. You went with your gut a lot.
Big news in Major League Baseball as one of the second base dominoes has officially fallen. The Rays have made 2 big trades today. One, they decided to trade Shane Baz in a crazy deal that the Orioles sent 3 first-round picks, either future or previous, to the Tampa Bay Rays. It feels like the Chris Archer deal all over again, if you want me to be honest. And then the other one that's more impactful for the Cardinals, Brandon Lau, in a 3-team trade, is officially moving on. He will be going to the Pirates. I think it's a smart move by the Pirates. I kind of like them adding a Brandon Lau. But the Astros gave up a couple of top 100 prospects in return for Lau. They get a pitcher in this deal as well that's heading their way. This sets the bare bones basic minimum of what you can ask for if you're Chaim Bloom. It also takes one of those second basemen off the market. Now the Cardinals, I think, can have more of a market for him, and this thing can start happening a little bit more urgent.
I think because of that trade, I'll tinfoil it. I think by Tuesday next week, we're talking about Brendan Donovan being traded to the Mariners. Because I think the Mariners just got a realization of what it's going to cost to trade for one of these guys. probably too spicy for them to get Ketel Marte. You just saw what it's going to cost. Now you don't get Lau. Brendan Donovan's going to be the one they say, all right, let's pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Someone wanting to get the deals done before the holidays, make that trade. And like BK said, this kind of lays out what the minimum was for Lau. Now you got to double that up a little bit to get Brendan Donovan. I think you see someone pull the trigger.
That's what we've got for you guys today. That's what we have for you guys this week. T-Bone is out all next week, so
woo! Way to go, T-Bone.
We will see him in about 10 days.
Mine will be in February.
I will see Alex on Monday. We will do the show for you guys then. We've got Monday and Tuesday that will be live. We've got some best of shows for you planned for Wednesday through Friday of next week with the holidays. For any of you that may be traveling this weekend, be safe out there. Have yourself a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate, a happy holidays. And we will talk to you guys on Monday at 11 a.m. For Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Bradford Bruns did a fantastic job back in the studio. The Fast Lane's coming up next here on 101 ESPN.